그럼 이제 본격적으로 두 번째 세션을 시작해 보도록 하겠습니다. 저는 2021년부터 한국에서 벌어지는 크립토 아트 씬을 직접 취재하기도 하고 아티스트 분들을 인터뷰하기도 하면서 NFT 아트 그 무엇으로도 대체 불가능한 예술이라는 책을 집필하기에 이르렀습니다. 그 과정에서 흥미로웠던 점은 이 크립토 아트 씬에 굉장히 활발한 대담 문화, 토론 문화가 활성화되어 있다는 점이었는데요. 바로 첫 번째 순서는 패널 토론이 또 준비가 되어 있고요. 이 두 번째 세션 내내 흥미로운 연사분들의 토론과 대담이 준비되어 있으니 주목해 주셨으면 좋겠습니다. 두 번째 세션의 연사분들을 모시기 전에 세션 주제를 알려드리고자 합니다. 주제는 광명 2세, 어떻게 해석될까요? 바로 깨달음으로 세상을 밝게 만든다입니다. We'll now begin the second session. The theme of the second session is manifestation. Recognize the beacons of the world and let them shine free. 크립토 아트는 우리가 예술에 대해서 알고 믿고 있던 것을 확장시키는 힘이 있습니다. 또 크립토 아트는 디지털상에서 구현되기 때문에 물리적 매체의 제약에서 우리를 해방시키고요. 새롭고 혁신적이고 진화된 표현 방법들이 펼쳐지는 예술입니다. 무엇보다 새로운 컬렉터층이 크립토 아트를 기반으로 해서 이 미술 시장에 유입되고 있습니다. 지금 초입부이고요. 역동적인 차세대 컬렉팅 문화를 만나볼 수 있는 가능성이 크립토 아트에 있습니다. Crypto art is expanding what we know and understand about art. It liberates us from the limitation of a physical medium, introduces novel and evolved methods of presentation, and paves the way toward the dynamic next-gen collecting culture. 자, 이 두 번째 세션에서는 예술과 블록체인 기술이 만나 그 교차점에 놓인 크립토 아트가 지금 대체 어떠한 상태인지 그 동향을 살펴볼 것이고요. 그리고 사회학적 및 문화적 관점에서 현 크립토 아트의 상태를 진단해 보고자 합니다. In session 2, we take a deep dive into recent development in crypto art at the intersection between art and blockchain technology and discuss its current state from sociological and cultural perspective. 설명은 여기까지 드리고요. 첫 번째 패널 토론을 진행해 보도록 하겠습니다. 첫 번째 패널 토론에 연사분들이 굉장히 많으신데요. 지금 등장하시는 동안 박수를 부탁드리도록 하겠습니다. 첫 번째 패널 토론의 주제는 캔버스로서의 메타버스와 오픈콜 문화입니다. Ladies and gentlemen, let's kick off the first panel discussion. The topic of the discussion is Metaverse as a canvas and the open core culture. 이번 세션의 모더레이터는 이함 갤러리와 슈퍼레어 스페이스의 디렉터인 그리다 큐레이터님이 진행을 해주시도록 하겠습니다. Grida, who serves as the director of 이함 Gallery and 슈퍼레어 Space, 모두 큰 박수로 다시 한번 맞이해 주시기 바랍니다. Let us invite them with a big round of applause.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, nice to meet you, everyone. I will just speak in Korean first because for me it's really happy moment that I speak in Korean first for blockchain events and crypto art. So it's really for me it's a happy moment. 안녕하세요. 저는 그리다이고요. 프랑스에서 살고 있습니다. 프랑스에서 디지털 아트 갤러리 큐레이션을 하고 있고 여기 앞에 있는 존이랑 입구에 보시면 왼쪽에 NFC 부스가 있어요. 거기에서 메인 큐레이션을 맡고 있습니다. 저희가 이렇게 온 이유는 크립토 아트 서울을 만들어주신 우리 루시아님 또 혜인님 크립토 아트 서울님들께 저희 초대해 주셔서 너무 감사하다는 말씀 드리고 싶고요. 네. I think you guys can hear me in English right first, so I will just move on. And we have these amazing panels today. So would you introduce yourself from Sebastien, please?
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Sebastien Borget. I'm the COO and co-founder at The Sandbox, as well as the president of the Blockchain Game Alliance. The Sandbox, it's a decentralized virtual world. It's a platform where anyone can become a creator, share their creation, truly own them and monetize them and use them the way they want.
Okay, and please introduce yourself.
네, 안녕하세요. 저는 더 샌드박스에서 크리에이터와 강사로 활동하고 있는 NFT 우주인입니다. 지금 현재 복셀 크리에이터로 열심히 활동을 하고 있습니다. 반갑습니다.
반갑습니다. And Alexandra.
Hi everyone, my name is Aleksandra. I lead partnerships at JoinXYZ. It's a co-creation platform that offers end-to-end solutions for curators to manage their decentralized curation. I'm also an artist and curator and often speaker and educator about art and Web3.
Yeah, nice to have you here. And please, Andy Koo.
Hi everyone, my name is Andy Koo. I'm one of the co-founder of Etna company who's the co-sponsor of this event. But I think most of you know me as the CEO of Altava Group. Altava is a fashion tech company where we provide all virtual fashions for all virtual worlds out there. And it's very nice to have a panel with you guys.
Okay, I'm so happy to have these amazing panels for this talk. And before we move on to the main topic, just love to hear about how do you feel, you guys, today. So, for example, Alexandra, almost the first time to visiting Korea. Would love to know more about how was it Korea and blockchain event here today. So please.
Well, I must say maybe the sleep pattern is a bit different, but I'm so grateful for people to be very welcoming in Korea so far. Everything is very cute, very tasty, and I just love seeing a different perspective on so many different things across arts and how things are scheduled and organized. And I love the fact that we have translators. Honestly, this is my first, 100 conferences in the last 2 years, and this is the first time I have a translator, so well done. I think this is very professional, and thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you. And how about Indiku? How do you feel about today? How are you?
To be honest with you, I'm exhausted. I've been staying up late and getting up early already. We actually we had a very big concern if this place is going to be ready for this event, but thank God that everything is well established. So I'd like to actually make special thanks to everyone who works super hard to make this happen. Hein, and Etna, Ian Studio. So I'm just happy that this is happening.
Wow, okay. And Sebastian, you travel a lot. You visited Korea more than 10 times, and just love to know about the feeling of today. So, because you've been to many other events, and today is very focused on art and culture. So, we'd love to know about your feeling of today.
Well, I'm very energized. I'm really happy to see there's a great attendance so far, both here and the main Korea Blockchain Week location, crowded, full of people. I kind of feel like home here. I come so often. We have so many partners, so many creators. Things are going great.
Okay, thank you. And our artist 오늘 이제 자리해 주셔서 기분이 어떠신지 한 사람씩 얘기하고 있습니다. 오늘 이렇게 자리해 주셔서 어떠신지 얘기해 주면 될 것 같아요.
네, 우선 저는 오늘 제 작품을 전시하는 활동으로 일단 참여를 했는데요. 저는 지금 현재 여자친구와 같이 작품 활동을 이어가고 있어요. 그래서 저는 좋아하는 일을 여자친구와 함께 지금 작품을 만들고 오늘 이 자리에 함께 전시를 할 수 있다는 게 굉장히 영광으로 생각하고 있습니다.
How can we see your exhibition? So it's in the Sandbox booth, right? Your artwork is exhibiting near the Sandbox booth, right? So after our talk, please visit the Sandbox booth, also an NFC and other exhibitions, because we have amazing artists exhibiting here today. So let's go to the main title. So today we discuss about the Metaverse as a canvas and the open core culture. So we can start with Sebastien. So, Sebastien, would you tell us about the difference between pixel art and voxel art?
All right, so before I jump into the difference between pixel art and voxel art, I want to walk back a little bit the history of Sandbox. Sandbox, I don't know if many of you know, but we started in 2011. At the beginning, it was just a mobile game in 2D, in pixel art. But we've always been driven by this idea, this passion, how can we enable anyone to become a creator without any skills before? And by anyone, I really mean people which background was not in art or haven't been creating content or learning programming, etc. So it started in pixel art, in 2D, just by touching the screen with your finger and dropping pixel on the screen that together shaped like art, games, levels, physics, simulation, and so on, and then sharing those creations online. Still, it was very limited. Somehow we felt like 2D, the size of the canvas, size of the screen actually, and how you interact with animating that world was very hard in 2D. Moving to voxel art, so a voxel being like a 3D pixel, a cube, think of it like a Lego, a digital Lego, gave us a lot more like freedom, material for creativity, meaning that now people could move into those 3D with their avatar and create content just by drag and dropping on the screen, adding behaviors, adding animation, adding more life into it, and facilitating even more content creation. So since 2018, now it's been 5 years, Sandbox has moved into voxel art and has appealed to an existing community of voxel artists, which was using before mostly a software called Magica Voxel, to move from just like creating renders to create like live immersive experiences, social, gamify them, and allow people to become part of it, to live through those creation in voxel art, and elevate what seems to be just a tool, like a Lego brick in a digital world, into something that could express and convey more feeling, support various causes, and definitely allow talent like Woo Jun today to bring to life their ideas and become like, make an impact in their life in a very profound manner.
So how can we guess what's pixel art like voxel art? So for example, for me, simply the pixel art is like CryptoPunks, and voxel art is also the Sandbox and plus Minecraft. So do you kind of miss the pixel generation when the Sandbox was in pixel? Because nowadays pixel is kind of taking the new trend. So just want to know about your opinion.
There's always this aspect of nostalgia. Like I think like pixel art, it's always an art form as well that will continue to exist. If you've grown in video games like me, you're born in the 80s, you've played like console like the Nintendo, the Super Nintendo, all the 8-bit or 16-bit. There is this retro feeling. But to be honest, as an entrepreneur, the retro feeling, it's not really mass market anymore. It's only appealing to that generation that grew up and played on those consoles. Most of the kids that started playing video games from like the Sony PlayStation and afterward, they're all born with 3D, so they are not even appealed by this retro aspect. For them, retro is already 3D. So in a way, I feel like moving into 3D is also making, again, back to this idea, how do I empower more people to want to become a creator? It was part of that mission, and it addressed a wider audience.
Okay, thank you. And as an environment, Metaverse is an environment, and especially Sandbox, the motto is everyone can join and create something their own. So the thing is, I would love to know about what do you do for artists and creators in the Sandbox? Yep.
So the way we see Sandbox is essentially we segment ourselves in 3 aspects. One, we have products, like the tools that we give to the creators so they can express their desire, give freedom to their imagination. We have an editor called VoxEdit, which allows to make 3D content and animate it. We have a map, we have a marketplace, and we have this game maker, no code, where like you take your asset and you can start interacting with them. Start like turning a character, fight against it, make it run, jump, and interact, creating a new quest, and more. That's the combination of VoxEdit and Game Maker that allows you to create new form of experiences, different games that doesn't exist on other platforms, and really have let artists and new creators enter the space. I'll be speaking maybe a bit later how like Sandbox has empowered also traditional artists. I think that can be very interesting. The second aspect of Sandbox is the content. Like to showcase how product and tools work, we need to attract great content. We do so by training creators through community management. We attracted voxel artists at the beginning, and then people who were interested to create games without coding, like people who played Minecraft maybe, or Roblox, and so on. showcasing the possibility. And we've been giving them a lot of support through grants. We launched a creator fund, we launched a game maker fund, we've launched various training programs. Here in Korea is a great example. I think there's more than 17 partners in education, some famous school and also program. Jinwoon is somewhere in the audience here. So talk to this guy. He's responsible for bringing hundreds of
The pink
people
shirt guy over there.
with the pink shirts there. To showcase that, yes, it's really easy. You can do it. You can create in the metaverse. And that's important. And that the last part is really growing this ecosystem. So how do we keep elevating people and their skills so they become more autonomous, they can train other people, and it starts to grow and scale so that they are no longer dependent only on us to provide grants. They can be self-supporting in their art. They can even turn a revenue, make it their dream job to be a full-time creator.
Wow, now we see the full-time creator of Sandbox, voxel artist. Now we have artist here. His name is Ujuin. Ujuin means spaceman, because in Korea, our word is combining with two different words, and they became a new word. So Uju means space, and In means human. So it's a really poetic, beautiful art name. We heard your introduction before, but we would love to know about. There are many kinds of arts and then artists, and we'd love to know about why you pick a voxel, what attracts you, and then your backstory, please. In Korean, yes.
네, 제가 생각하는 복셀 아트의 매력은 단순함입니다. 복셀 아트라는 게 결국은 블럭을 차곡차곡 쌓아서 누구나 쉽게 만들 수 있는 게 가장 큰 장점이라고 할 수 있는데요. 그렇기 때문에 초보자도 누구나 복셀을 몇 개 쌓는 것만으로 멋있는 작품을 만들 수가 있습니다. 그리고 더 샌드박스에서는 이미 완성되어 있는 사람이나 동물 같은 디자인을 템플릿으로 제공을 하고 있습니다. 그래서 처음 시작하는 사람도 누구나 템플릿을 조금 색칠하고 수정하는 작업만으로도 쉽게 창작을 할 수가 있습니다. 제가 복셀 크리에이터로 활동한 지는 1년 반 정도가 되어 있는데요. 전 태어나서 한 번도 디자인을 전공해 본 적이 없어요. 그럼에도 불구하고 복셀 아트는 정말 쉽기 때문에 정말 열정만 있으면 누구나, 남녀노소 누구나 쉽게 시작을 할 수 있겠구나 느꼈습니다. 그래서 저는 현재까지 복셀 아트로 직업도 구하고 강의 활동도 하고 각종 대회에서 수상도 하고 지금 교육 사업도 같이 참여를 하고 있습니다. 제가 이렇게까지 할 수 있던 이유는 바로 지금 이 복셀 아트가 바로바로 만들어지는 과정을 눈으로 볼 수 있기 때문이라고 저는 생각을 하고 있습니다. 성취감도 쉽게 느끼고 또 더 샌드박스에서는 이 성취감을 극대화해줄 여러 가지 이벤트들이 있습니다. 이 이벤트들을 하나씩 즐기는 것만으로도 실력이 금방 늘 수 있고 자신의 성취감을 느낄 수 있다고 저는 생각하고 있습니다. 그래서 저는 새로운 기회를 찾거나 어떤 새로운 취미를 갖기 원하시는 분들한테는 제가 더 샌드박스에서 복셀 아트를 창작해보기를 전 추천드리고 싶습니다.
Yes, so after this talk, please find this blue shirt guy and pink shirt guy, know more about the Sandbox and voxel creation. So yeah, and one more question for you. What do you want more from the Metaverse? What do you expect? And I think we heard many things from the support from Metaverse, but also must be something from artist's point of view. So if you could tell us what do you expect more, or yeah, what could be the better for the artists, for the Metaverse? 어떤 게 더 개선되는지.
제가 메타버스 시장에서 원하는 것은 조금 더 보안이 개선되고 접근성이 좋아졌으면 하는 바람이 있습니다. 왜냐하면 현재는 어떤 해킹이나 스캠의 위험성도 있고 시장 상황 등 여러 가지 좀 어려운 면이 있습니다. 또 대중의 참여도를 조금 높이기 위해서는 보안이 개선되고 접근성을 낮춰야 된다고 생각을 하고 있습니다. 그렇게 된다면 대중들은 조금 더 안심하고 이 시장에 다가올 수 있지 않을까 생각을 합니다. 더 샌드박스에서는 이미 훌륭한 작품들과 게임들이 많이 나오고 있습니다. 더 많은 크리에이터들이 양성되고 양질의 콘텐츠를 제공하게 된다면 이 시장도 많이 활성화가 되지 않을까 생각을 하고 있습니다. 그로 인해서 저는 더 많은 기회를 챙겨가기를 원하고 있습니다.
Thank you. So now we were talking about the environment and artists. Now we need to talk about their creation and how to bring artists in the metaverse. So now we can hear from Aleksandra, which is really professional for creations, and especially in Web3, there are many ways to bring artists in the scene, crypto art and sandbox and metaverse. And open core culture is very strong. So I would love to hear more about what could be the value for the open core culture in the Web3. Aleksandra.
Thank you so much. And I love the fact that we're sharing this panel together with Sandbox, because I think accessibility and security and offering opportunities for people to be whoever they want to be and be a curator in this process of co-curation is a value that we strongly share at Join. But I would love to zoom out and just lay out a context as to why some of these tools are needed for curators. If I look back, it's been many, many years of curating digital art, and I think one of the biggest profound moments was doing an open call for Ars Electronica. I think it was 2020. Because of COVID, they were not able to have a physical festival, so back when I worked at DADA.art, we decided that we're going to support them by creating a virtual pavilion where they're going to do an open call to bring artists across the world to be exhibited in this virtual space. And the amount of pain we went through trying to curate it, trying to make things work. You had to outsource developers to make virtual pages unless you have your own development skills. It was very, very painful and very, very difficult. And I think it was very, very hard to sort of like share this opportunity with a wide range of artists. So if we fast forward through COVID, I think that seriously accelerated this adoption and usability of art online, and people started thinking about consuming art and digital art in a more curated way. So art started having a more dedicated space within the art world to be considered as something as serious art, not just graphic design or design with a purpose. And so Q Next, Join came about. It's been a couple of years now, and when I joined May last year was the period of time that we decided to open up the platform for onboarding partners to use the tools that sort of like the founding team developed. And the most popular is open calls. So we have Twitter integration, we have submission forums on Join, and over the last year we saw over 30,000 artists participate in open calls with nearly 200,000 submissions across 500 different opportunities that we facilitated. So opportunities come from many places. For example, conferences like NFC, our partner, also Crypto Art Seoul, and many other sort of individual Web3 galleries, vertical crypto art. Hello. Are using Join because for artists it's very important to track provenance. So you have a history of participation every time you win an open call, it's added to your badge. But B, also, as you can see, sometimes the very flashy video of the Join composer. We had one day to prepare a video, so we didn't have much time to submit more work. The composer, what we did is we focused on decentralized curation. So once you launch an open call, you have hundreds of submissions. What do you do with them next? And I think this is very challenging, and this is where a lot of time goes into managing. And what we developed is a simple drag and drop feature that allows you to curate works across any Ethereum chain, and as a curator, set curator fees and release it as a showcase. It can be as a drop, so if something sells, you get a commission, or it can be just to highlight as like a digital arm of your physical exhibition. And then similarly, we developed a tool for narrating stories because there's so many talented writers in this space, and uploading an image and a link, again, been there, done that, takes too much time. So the whole focus of the platform right now is how can we make a curator's life in Web3 more simple? How can we add value to artists to make opportunities more discoverable? And how can we bring people together to co-create across Join and a global ecosystem of talented creators?
Okay, thank you for your explanations. And just quickly, one more question. Speaking of open call and curation, the Web3 really spotlight decentralization and also decentralized curation. Would you explain more about decentralized curation, please?
Decentralized curation. Yeah, I got it. Thanks. I think there are many things to say, but in the interest of time, I think one of the most important things is that it's out in the open. So on our platform, 95% of the open calls, everyone can see who else applied. You can see which curators are behind the initiative, and sort of like through the shortlisting, through the winner selection, artists can see basically what is going on behind the scenes. And this is very new. So for people who maybe worked with sort of like the more traditional way of applying, it's typically a hidden submission form. You have no idea how many people applied. Sometimes you miss the deadline because the information is scattered all across the internet. So sort of like here, we encourage people to be as transparent as possible and be also platform agnostic. So there's no sort of like bottlenecks for artists to apply. Even though, even if we simplified 90% of the process, people still complain. They're like, oh, I have to enter my email. Oh no. but we're happy and we're like optimizing every single day. Like now you don't need an email. Like it's just getting easier and easier. But we have to understand that it's important to have certain security measures, as you mentioned earlier, to continue establishing and providing that level of trust. So I think these are sort of the areas we're focusing on right now.
Okay, thank you, Aleksandra. Yeah, and we were speaking of environment, art, and curation, art in general. I would love to know more about other genre, which is fashion. So we have many words: art metaverse and gaming, and VR and fashion metaverse. So you're the professional. So would you tell us more about what is fashion metaverse? What can we do there?
I guess as name indicates, it's a fashion-focused, fashion-driven ecosystem where you don't just consume fashion in this metaverse environment, but you also come in and you can create your own virtual fashion. This can be done by utilizing our creators tool, where anybody who has no knowledge, no previous experience in 3D, or any kind of 3D technology can come in and use our AI-powered tool to create their own creation, fashion that is 3D fashion. And then obviously, once you create your fashion, your avatar can consume wear, but you can also sell to other users, other players within ecosystem. And when I talk about ecosystem, it's not a particular our own metaverse, but it's talking about connecting with multiple different metaverse or virtual worlds out there. So we provide access to different metaverses, virtual worlds projects out there for creators, so they can create their own fashion, virtual fashion, and they can supply to all these different virtual worlds at a single attempt. Again, utilizing our AI tool. Our AI tool basically converts 2D to 3D and 3D to different 3D. So this is a way creators come in and also maximize their, the return. And this is a huge monetization opportunity for all creators. And at the same time, creators, we provide what we call showroom, where creators can create, display their own creation within their showroom. So anyone can visit your showroom and view your 3D creation, and right there they can, purchase your creation, or they can follow you and you become quite famous designers within this creator community. So that's what we do, and this is literally we are connecting, bringing all creators and all brands, and with all virtual worlds, metaverse projects out there, and so we're basically a connector and making this a one connected the ecosystem all together.
Wow, the fashion metaverse is very exciting because every time I see a Sandbox, or we had also Gepetto in Naver, when I see Chanel shop there, Louis Vuitton, wow, fashion is really creating some other environment. So it's really exciting. And how can we join Alpaca? How can we join as a fashion creator, or how do we do?
Again, like anyone who's interested in fashion, also have some design sense and wants to create, a virtual 3D asset, just can come into altava.com and sign up and start using our tool and playing with it. So again, like you really do not have, he said he never, studied design. So this exactly, anyone who just has that sense, wants to be a creator, can come in and, using our tools, can start creating some simple stuff, and then, so it's really for everybody. But also, creators who come with the specific fashion background, also has some knowledge in 3D tools and technology, can also create their own 3D asset and provide to us, and that becomes a template for other creators can based on. And we also have welcome IP owners who also contribute their IPs for any creators can license from. It's a micro-transaction based licensing kind of a transaction where creators can also use your IP to put on your virtual fashions and make your fashion more unique and more appeal to everybody. So it's really for everybody. It's a simple process, and just altava.com. That's it.
Wow, okay. So I'm so excited. Everyone can join and easily. So the last question is a very philosophical one. We can talk about this in like 6 hours, 10 hours, but this, each one you guys have, let's say, 20 seconds. So let's get to it. So the last question is, what role will art play in our ecosystem and culture? So you could answer this also as a last minute. So please go, Sebastien. Yeah, go.
Well, I think it's very important to bring art and culture in the metaverse. Like, we want to stand for something that inspires, that bring people from different origins and cultures together, that we want to constantly keep exploring and that evolve. And I think like having things you don't see on other platforms, having new type of creators that use their existing art and then use Metaverse and voxel art to represent either in a different way, to extend it in another way. I'm thinking of some collaboration we had in Lisbon, for example. We had the non-fungible conference, and Pascal Boyard, which is like street artist gravity, became a voxel character on stage. Or I'm thinking about Hackatao, which is exposed here and then turn their art, 2D art, into a collection of 3D characters that becomes playable and evolve depending on several traits. There's a lot of new possibilities that's being brought on that keep inspiring the creators. And you want to be surrounded by creators. It's not just being given the tools and the possibility. You want to be surrounded by other people that inspire you. And I think having art present in the metaverse, having fashion present in the metaverse is essential for that.
Wow, thank you. And 작가님 마지막으로 한마디 해주시고 문화가 어떤 역할을 하게 될까 한마디 같이 해주시죠.
네, 이제 사람들은 더 나았고 더 편안한 삶을 추구하는데 이것 또한 저는 예술이라고 생각을 하고 있습니다. 예술이는 곧 삶이라는 이야기도 있잖아요. 더 사람들은 언제나 더 편하고 더 나은 삶을 추구하는데 이 과정에서 예술은 그 발전을 더 가속시킬 매개체가 될 것이라고 생각을 하고 있습니다.
감사합니다. Aleksandra.
Those are very beautiful responses.
Yeah.
I think, some people say that maybe digital arts is not really art, la la la. I think arts and digital arts is the most digital native thing there is, because technology is everywhere. And art, it transcends boundaries. It's an extension of culture. It's a language. It's an international language. And so I believe that it will be ever so more important. And I think we'll see more and more cross-cultural collaboration. We'll see more co-creation between different artists with different skills, between developers, between writers. It's this connecting network that allows us to sort of like communicate on the next level. Sorry, okay, I'm running out. So basically,
take your time. It's okay.
but that is my point. I think this is what brings us all together. And in a world which is even more interconnected, it plays a very crucial role and will only continue to grow.
Thank you. And Andy?
First of all, we have a huge respect towards
20 seconds. Yeah, please
20
go ahead.
second artists and creators. And I think our job, what we're trying to do is to promote their creation and make it known, make it seen, make it consumed to broader audience by bring them into the form of the virtual fashion. So any creations, any artwork can be seen as an IP that can be transformed into the wearable digital fashion. And this is a brand new way to promote their creations and brand new business model that we can bring into these creators.
Thank you so much. Thank you for listening. And after this speaking, if you guys see us, please hit us up. We can talk about more things in the NFC booth and Sandbox, and we will be everywhere. So thank you for listening. We are done. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all for sharing your thoughtful
감사합니다.
insight with us. 네, 이렇게 흥미로운 토론을 해주신 패널 분들께 다시 한번 큰 박수 부탁드리도록 하겠습니다. 이어지는 세션은 실은 말이 필요 없는 분들을 초대하는 시간이라는 생각이 드는데요. 한국의 크립토 아트 역사의 초기부터 현재까지 그 사계절을 다 겪은 한국 작가들의 이야기를 들을 수 있는 시간입니다. 네, 한국의 크립토 아트 작가님들은 어떠한 생각을 가지고 이 크립토 아트를 창작해 왔을까요? 이제 그 대담을 통해서 여러분들이 살아있는 이야기를 만나보실 수 있습니다. Next in line, we have a panel discussion where we hear from Korean crypto artists. 모두 큰 박수로 맞이해 주시기 바랍니다. Let's invite them on the stage with a warm round of applause.
안녕하세요. 저는 이온 스튜디오의 아트 디렉터를 맡고 있고 그리고 NFT 아티스트로 활동하고 있는 샤이니타이거라고 합니다. 저도 역시나 2021년부터 NFT 아티스트로서 활동을 하면서 한국의 전통 괴물들을 소개를 하고 있고요. 그리고 지금까지 만나뵀던 이제 작가님들 중에 제가 정말 사랑하는 작가님들이자 1세대 NFT 아티스트 분들이신 작가님들을 모셨습니다. 작가님들 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
일단 간단하게 먼저 소개를 드리면 저희 옆에서부터 조이조 작가님, 레지나 킴 작가님, 낙타 작가님, 그리고 요요진 작가님을 모셨습니다. 한 분 한 분 먼저 소개를 들어볼까 해요. 첫 번째로 저희 조이조 작가님 같은 경우에는 추상 회화와 그리고 디지털, 음악, 다양한 장르를 통해서 예술의 본질을 표현하고자 노력을 하시고 제가 아는 NFT 아티스트 분들 중에 가장 흥이 넘치시는 작가님이십니다. 조이치 작가님 안녕하세요.
안녕하세요.
간단하게 소개 부탁드리겠습니다.
추상 페인팅이랑 이제 미디어랑 음악 작업도 하고 있는 조이조라고 합니다. 네. 지금도 네, 원래는 이제 페인팅 위주로 작가 활동을 하고 있고 21년, 22년 그때는 조금 뮤지션 분들이랑 제가 예전에 보컬 활동도 했어서 뭐 인디 때 했던 그런 것들을 살려서 좀 커뮤니티 활동도 활발히 하고 그런 뮤지션 분들이랑 이제 콜라보 미디어 작업을 내면서 좀 활동을 활발하게 했었고요. 지금은 다시 페인팅 위주로 좀 하고 있고요. 좀 에세이 작업을 좀 옛날부터 써놨던 것들을 좀 단행본으로 내려고 좀 올 하반기는 글 작업을 좀 하고 있습니다.
감사합니다. 저는 아직도 조이조 작가님 하면 2021년 12월에 저희가 파리에서 메종드 노엘이라는 전시를 함께 개최를 했었어요. NFT 전시를 개최를 했었었는데 그때 노래를 불러주셔서 아직까지도 그 멋진 공연을 잊을 수가 없습니다. 감사합니다. 저희 두 번째로는 레지나 킴 작가님을 소개합니다. 레지나 킴 작가님 같은 경우에는 다양한 장르와 콜라보레이션을 진행을 하고 계시고요. 브랜드 콜라보, 아티스트 콜라보, 아트토이 콜라보 다양한 활동을 진행하시면서 콜라주 작업으로 아름다운 작품들을 만들어주고 계십니다. 상업과 예술의 경계를 뛰어넘으면서 다양한 활동을 하시고 계신데요. 자기소개 부탁드리도록 하겠습니다.
안녕하세요. 저는 비주얼 아티스트 레지나 킴입니다. 반갑습니다. 저는 콜라주, 일러스트, 무빙 이미지 등 다양한 미디엄을 통해서 여러 사회 문제나 환경 문제 그리고 인권 문제에 대해서 다루는 작업들도 하고 있고 또 여러 브랜드들과 함께 콜라보 작품도 많이 만들고 있습니다.
감사합니다, 작가님. 그리고 세 번째로 어떻게 보면 저의 NFT 스승님이시기도 한 정말 일단 먼저 디지털 콜라주 기법으로 환상적인 상상의 세계를 NFT 작품으로서 만들어주고 계신 낙타 작가님이십니다. 작가님 소개 부탁드리겠습니다.
네, 안녕하세요. 우선 제가 지금 여기 올라오기 전에 바지 지퍼가 터져서 좀 다소곳하게 네, 안녕하세요. 저는 현재 디지털 콜라주 기법을 기반으로 이제 작품들을 만들어내고 있고요. 상업 외주 씬에서 원래는 활동을 하다가 이제 개인 작품들을 만들면서 전시나 해외 여러 페어들도 참여하고 있었고요. 그러던 와중에 이제 21년도 3월달에 좀 빠르게 한국에서는 NFT를 접하고 공부해 나가면서 좀 재밌게 관심을 가지고 지금까지도 현재 작품을 만들면서 활동을 하고 있습니다. 네, 반갑습니다.
반갑습니다. 바지 지퍼가 터졌다고 하는데 저희 이번 세션이 터질 예정인가 봅니다. 마지막으로 저희 요요진 작가님이신데요. 아마 한국 NFT 씬에서는 이분의 작품 캐릭터를 한 번쯤은 보셨을 거예요. 정말 귀엽지만 누구보다 깊은 이야기를 전달하고 계신 두들링 기법, 애니메이션 기법, 디지털 기법으로 작품을 만들고 계신 요요진 작가님이십니다. 작가님 소개 부탁드리겠습니다.
네, 안녕하세요. 저는 요요진이라고 하고요. 그림을 그리고 있습니다. 그 남의 이야기 듣는 게 제일 지루할 텐데 이렇게 앉아서 들어주시니까 너무 감사하네요. 네, 저는 제 자랑을 좀 하자면은 이것도 민망하지만은 저는 2010년에 그 유네스코를 통해서 아프리카 잠비아에 파견이 됐고 그거를 계기로 9년 동안 그 잠비아에서 문화예술 프로젝트를 하면서 좀 작가 활동을 시작하게 됐어요. 뭐 그리고서 한국에 돌아와가지고 이제 그때 했던 그때 배웠던 그 경험들을 기반으로 해서 작업을 하고 있고요. 네, 그렇습니다.
감사합니다. 정말 몇 년 동안 이 작가님들과 거의 동거동락하면서 다양한 활동들을 지켜보고 참여하고 만들어 나갔었는데요. 자, 이제 작가님들의 이야기를 조금 더 들어볼까 해요. 그래서 한 분 한 분 질문을 드리고자 하는데 먼저 조이조 작가님께 여쭤보고 싶습니다. 작가님 되게 다양한 활동하고 계시잖아요. 특히 한국의 가수 라디님이시라든지 해외 여러 뮤지션 분들과 함께 음악적인 콜라보 작품을 제작하시기도 하시고 또 조이조 작가님은 그 유명한 조이조 NFT 패스라는 것을 만드셔서 와인과 술과 이야기, 웹3 이야기와 사람들이 만나서 이제 소통할 수 있는 그런 장을 만들어 주시기도 했었는데요. 작가님이 지금까지 경험하셨을 때 이런 블록체인 기술을 통해서 이제 만들어왔던 활동들, 작품들이 그 전에 피지컬 작품을 하실 때와 어떤 차이점이 있으셨는지 혹시 또 기억 남는 일화가 있으신지 나눠주시면 감사드리겠습니다.
우선은 이제 21년도에 저도 이제 낙타 작가님이랑 한창 그때 클럽하우스가 흥하면서 항상 방구석에서 혼자 작업하시던 작가님들이 신세계를 만나셔서 맨날 이제 떠들고 작업 얘기하고 그러던 와중에 이제 한두 명씩 좀 NFT를 시작을 하시면서 좀 가랑비에 옷 젖듯이 같이 하게 됐어요. 그래서 이 크립토 아트 자체가 저희는 어떻게 보면 친구 따라서 강남 간 느낌으로 이렇게 좀 재미있게 항상 즐거운 사람들이 주변에 있었고 항상 이 사람들이 나 이거 할 줄 알아 라고 서로 도와주는 그런 바이브가 있었어요. 그래서 항상 좀 재밌는 것들을 좀 추진을 하면서 지나왔던 것 같고요. 그런 과정에서 사실 혼자서 이제 페인팅 할 때는 사실 재미있을 일이 좀 없는데 다 같이 이렇게 흥도 넘치고 또 저희 요요진 작가님도 굉장히 흥이 넘치시는 또 분이시고 해서 이런 메타버스에서 뭐 화지 작가님이나 이런 분들 공연하실 때 같이 와서 축하하고 놀고 그런 것들을 그러니까 진짜 커뮤니티의 큰 장이었던 것 같아요. 그래서 그게 가장 이제 피지컬 작업할 때랑 이런 디지털 작업하면서 이제 크립토 물론 이제 블록체인 쪽으로 뭔가 기술적으로 들어간 게 아니라 아티스트 입장에서는 그냥 이미지나 영상을 올려서 NFT로 발행했다 뿐이지만 그 안에서 좀 커뮤니티적인 의미를 많이 찾았던 시간들이었던 것 같습니다.
작가님들과 만남의 장을 만들어서 저희가 마치 축제와 같은 기간들을 지나왔어요. 그래서 방금 얘기해 주신 것처럼 저희가 첫 단체, 한국의 첫 전시였던 빌라전부터 시작을 해서 빌라전 2회, 3회를 지나가고 메타버스 콘서트를 지나가고 다양한 활동들을 함께 해주셨었는데요. 그 이야기 콜라주에 대해서 조금 더 나중에 이야기 나눠보도록 하겠습니다. 레지나 작가님, 그리고 두 번째로 질문 드리고 싶어요. 콜라주 작업을 통해서 아까도 말씀해 주셨지만 젠더나 인종 그리고 사회 문제와 같은 다양한 이제 이야기들을 전해주고 계신데요. 사실 크립토 아트를 만나시기 이전부터 디지털 아트를 해오셨었잖아요. 근데 크립토 아트를 만나면서 이런 변한 활동이라든지 혹은 작품의 변화가 있으셨는지 그 이야기를 나눠주시면 감사드리겠습니다.
저는 디지털 작품 경우에는 이제 뭐 가수들이나 이런 분들 이제 앨범 커버 이제 포스터 작업들을 같이 했었고, 그리고 또 작품을 프린트해서 이제 전시해서 판매하는 그런 형태의 이제 작업들을 많이 했었거든요. 근데 NFT 같은 경우는 누구를 위해서 만들거나 아니면은 프린트를 해서 판매하는 게 아니라 디지털 파일 본연의 그 파일 자체를 어떤 컬렉터에게 작품으로서 판매를 하는 거여가지고 되게 저한테는 신선을 했고 또 예술가로서 뭔가 인정받는 그런 느낌이 들었어요. 그래서 그리고 또 이제 그 컬렉터분들이 재판매를 하면 또 로열티도 계속 받을 수 있다는 점도 굉장히 흥미로웠고, 무엇보다도 제가 제일 좋았던 점은 이 NFT 시장이 되게 커뮤니티 중심으로 이렇게 활동할 수 있다는 점이 되게 좋았는데, 특히 예술가들은 이제 회사에 속해 있는 게 아니라 개인적으로 다 활동을 하는 거기 때문에 작가님들을 만날 수 있는 어떤 그런 교류의 장이 없거든요. 그래서 그런 부분을 NFT가 되게 열어줘서 그 NFT로 인해서 제가 또 작가님들을 만나게 되고 또 작품에 대해서도 이야기를 하고 NFT 정보도 공유하면서 이런 소통의 어떤 기회, 그 장을 만들어준 것 같아서 저한테는 NFT 시장이 굉장히 제 예술 활동에 도움이 되고 있습니다.
감사합니다. 저희 지퍼가 터지신 낙타 작가님, 저의 NFT 스승님이시기도 했는데요. 사실 낙타 작가님 같은 경우에는 저희가 초기 이 많은 아티스트 분들을 NFT 씬으로 온보딩 시켜주시는 역할을 해주시기도 하셨어요. 그래서 처음에 어떤 식으로 오픈시를 활용해야 된다거나 이런 마켓플레이스가 있다거나 로열티가 무슨 의미거나 이런 이야기들을 저희에게 알려주셨던 작가님이시자 지금까지도 다양한 강의를 지속해 오신 작가님이신데요. 지금까지 이렇게 많은 작가들을 온보딩 시키고 강의를 진행하시면서 느끼셨던 점 혹은 좀 더 이런 점이 필요한 것 같다 라고 생각하신 점이 있으시면 나눠주시면 부탁드리겠습니다.
네, 뭔가 이 NFT 씬에서 필요한 부분을 얘기하기에는 너무 오피셜한 자리에서 감히 제가 말하기가 되게 조심스럽긴 한데요. 일단 처음에 21년 3월쯤에 이제 한국에 NFT라는 게 알려지게 되면서 사실 옆에 있는 요이진 작가님과 정말 막 몇십만 원씩의 가스비를 날리면서 그 당시에는 저희가 어디서 교육을 받거나 배울 수가 있지가 않던 상황이었어요. 근데 그렇게 저희가 부딪혀서 문제를 해결하는 것들이 굉장히 재밌었고 그 해결들을 공유하면서 다른 분들이 그러면 이것도 이렇게 하면 되지 않을까? 하고 제기했을 때 또 그걸 같이 해결하는 그런 분위기였었고 또 그런 것들이 굉장히 재밌었는데 그렇기 때문에 계속 할 수 있었던 거고 근데 이제 제가 강의를 나갔을 때 느낀 점은 강의를 들으러 오시는 분들의 특징은 어떠한 목적이 되어 있는 거예요. 목적이 있는 거예요. 내가 수익적인 그러니까 NFT라는 걸 알아서 어떤 수익적인 목적을 갖거나 아니면 아티스트의 활동으로서 어떤 목적을 갖거나 그런 목적들을 갖고 오시는 분들이 많은데 정말 다양하세요. 어떤 분들은 그냥 SNS에서 흔히 NFT 돈 된다 이런 것들만 보고서 정말 NFT를 아무것도 모르시는 상태에서 와서 이제 강의를 들으러 오시는 분도 있고 아니면 그냥 나는 뭐 이모티콘을 디지털로 만들고 있었는데 NFT가 디지털 아트의 한 장르이기 때문에 내가 어떻게 좀 더 활동 영역을 넓힐 수 있을까? 아니면 나한테 득이 되는 점이 뭘까? 이런 고민들이나 어떤 목적을 갖고 오시는 분들이 굉장히 많으세요. 그래서 뭐 당연히 그 중에는 이제 만족스럽게 강의를 듣고 즐겁게 계속해서 이제 고민을 갖고 활동을 하시는 분들도 많은 반면에 또 한편으로는 와서 강의를 들었는데 해야 될 게 너무 많어. 아니면 내가 생각했던 NFT는 딱 들어오면 돈을 벌 줄 알았는데 이런 것들을 해야 된다고? 근데 생각한 것보다 돈이 될 것 같진 않네? 이러고 포기하시는 분들도 많고 비난하거나 좀 안 좋은 시선으로 보시는 분들도 많이 계셨거든요. 근데 이제 제가 강의를 나갈 때 그런 분들을 대상으로 항상 꼭 하는 말이 사실 NFT가 돈이 된다는 생각으로 여기 오시면 안 된다. 그런 생각을 갖고 이제 접근하셔서 시작하시면은 그거는 좀 너무 위험한 생각 같다라고 말씀을 드리고 있고, 어찌됐든 그쪽에 오시는 분들은 이제 창작자 입장으로서 오는 거니까 저는 이제 그분들한테 항상 말하는 게 디지털 이제 작업을 하시거나 아니면 페인팅 작업을 하시거나 작업을 하시고 계시니까 NFT는 하나의 내 확장 채널 정도로만 생각하시면은 오히려 마음의 부담을 덜고 이제 조급함 없이 하실 수 있을 거다, 그렇게 말씀을 드리고 있고요. 그렇기 때문에 이제 항상 이제 제가 강의 나가서 말하듯이 제가 이제 감히 말씀드리면 NFT 현재 시점에서 필요한 부분들은 사실 NFT가 돈이 되는 시장, 새로운 어떤 기술력이 개발된 어떤 시장이다, 이렇게 접근하고 보시는 것보다는 아티스트 입장에서는 내가 얼마나 지속적으로 이 기술력을 통해서 내 작품을 좀 더 메시지를 전달할 수 있을지를 고민하고, 또 이제 아티스트로서 어떻게 활동을 계속 이어나갈 수 있을지, NFT를 어떻게 활용할지 들에 대해서 고민하는 부분이 좀 많이 필요하다고 생각을 해요. 저 역시도 마찬가지로 그런 부분들을 계속 고민하고 있는 거고, 저야 기회가 좀 와서 이제 일찍이 NFT를 접하고 초반에 정말 이제 인생 역전까지는 아니지만 수익적인 어떤 이득적인 부분도 많이 보긴 했었지만, 결국에 맹점은 이제 내가 얼마나 이 씬에서 예술을 계속 이어나갈 수 있는지를 고민하고 있거든요. 그래서 그런 부분들을 계속 되짚어보는 게 중요할 것 같고요. 뭐 컬렉터나 NFT, 아트, 예술에 관심이 있는 분들 입장에서는 어떤 작가의 작품을 샀는데 돈이 엄청 올라갔대, 그 가격이 뛰었대, 이런 걸 보면서 뽀모를 느껴서 돈이 되는 이런 것들을 찾아다니기보다는 정말 이 작가가 어떤 메시지를 전달하고 싶은지, 어떤 작품들을 하고 있는지들을 찾아보시면 좀 더 재밌게 NFT 아트 예술들을 좀 즐겨보실 수 있지 않을까, 그렇게 이제 컬렉터 또는 예술에 관심이 있어 하는 분들한테 좀 그런 말씀을 드리고 싶어요. 네.
감사합니다. 결국 저희가 NFT 아트를 접하면서 조금 더 우리들의 세계관을 넓혀가고 그리고 지속적으로 활동할 수 있는 어떤 기회가 탄생한 거지, 이걸 수익성으로 너무 생각을 하다 보면 너무 쉽게 실망하실 수도 있다라는 말씀을 전해주신 것 같아요.
맞아요.
감사합니다. 그러면 요요진 작가님으로 넘어가 보도록 하겠습니다. 요요진 작가님, 피지컬 아트와 디지털 아트를 함께 이렇게 진행을 하고 계신데요. 이런 기존 예술씬과 크립토 아트씬을 함께 이렇게 경험을 해보시면서 혹시 느끼셨던 좀 차이점이라든지 다른 점, 혹은 블록체인 아트 시장에 대해서 의견을 나눠주실 수 있을까요?
네, 저는 그 현대미술 씬에서 활동을 하고 있다고 생각을 하지만은 거기에서 그렇게 받아들여지는 편은 아니거든요. 그 이미지 자체가 보시다시피 이렇게 귀여운 그 얼굴, 저게 제 시그니처 그 심볼이거든요. 그거를 기반으로 활동을 하다 보니까 어떤 메시지를 담거나 어떻게 활동을 하든 이미 저 이미지에 가려져서 그 담론들을 그 현대 미술 씬에서 전할 수 있는 그런 작가는 아니에요. 그래서 상업지향적인 작가라고 보여지는 부분이 많고, 실제로 그렇게 활동을 해서 기업 콜라보를 통해 가지고 그 활동을 하기도 하고요. 대신에 이 크립토 아트 씬과 현대 미술과 다양한 관점에서 이 크립토 씬을 바라봤을 때 그때 부족한 부분이 뭐가 있었냐라고 짚는다면은 현대 미술씬은 이미 오래전부터 진행이 되어 왔기 때문에 구조라는 게 있어요. 그래서 상업 미술은 갤러리, 그리고 그 현대 미술, 좀 개념 미술 쪽은 미술관. 그래서 그 갤러리에서 파생되는 것들이 이제 아트 페어나 이런 상업 시장이죠. 그리고 미술관 같은 경우에는 이제 비엔날레를 통해서 다양한 개념과 그런 사회적 이슈들을 다루는, 그게 이제 하나로 모여지는 그게 이제 그 세계 유수의 갤러리를 통해서 자본으로 이렇게 순환이 되는 건데, 전환이 되는 건데, 제가 그 크립토 씬에서 조금 아쉬웠다라고 얘기할 수 있는 부분은 저도 그 이미지적으로 봤을 때 상업적인 작업들을 했기 때문에 뭐 그거에 얼마나 기여를 했는지는 모르겠지만은 실제로 그 현대 미술 쪽에서 활동하시는 분들을 봤을 때 굉장히 다양한 이런 그 가상 현실이라든지 아니면은 그 AI라든지 아니면은 NFT라는 그 채굴, 뭐 그 코인이라는 그런 채굴 시스템, 블록체인 이런 것들에 관해서 다양한 담론들을 이야기하실 수 있는 작가님들이 어마어마하게 많아요. 그리고 실제로 그런 분들이 뭔가 이야기를 해서 대중들과의 그 교류를 통해서 그 정작 우리가 무엇을 하고자 하는지, 그리고 어떤 담론들이 이 블록체인이라는 씬에서 존재하는지, 그리고 미래에서는 어떻게 이거를 그 만들어갈 수 있는지, 그런 거에 대한 담론들을 나눌 수 있는 장을 정말 그 댄시하게 만들 수 있을 것 같은데, 근데 솔직히 이렇게 말하면 좀 그 욕먹을 수 있겠지만은 결국에는 스크린에 그림 띄워놓고 보는 그게 지금의 현실이잖아요. 그리고 그 그림을 이제 NFT라는 그 툴킷을 통해서 거래를 하는 그 시장이 만들어졌고, 그러면은 이후에는 어떻게 해야 될까에 대한 고민들은 되게 다양한 시도를 통해서 있어야 된다고 생각을 해요. 다양한 시도와 그 담론들을 나눌 수 있는 장. 하지만은 그런 장보다는 솔직히 이게 그 경제 개념, 뭐 좀 그 이코노미라는 그 경제라는 그 시스템 안에서 돌아가는 그게 먼저 우선시되는 것 같아서 조금 그렇습니다. 네.
감사합니다. 어떻게 보면 이제 저도 이제 여기에 들어와서 다양한 작가님들을 만나고 이야기를 나누면서 저희가 사실 시작점이잖아요. 저 요요진 작가님과 이야기를 나누면서 되게 인상 깊었던 말씀 중에 하나가 아직 우리는 지금 공부를 하는 시기가 이제 조금 지나왔고, 처음에 이제 이게 블록체인이 무엇이고 NFT가 무엇이고 여기서 우리가 무엇을 할 수 있을까를 고민하는 시기에서 이제 방금 얘기해 주신 것처럼 담론을 만들 때다. 그래서 이걸 가지고 우리가 뭐 어떤 활동을 할 수 있을지, 어떤 담론을 만들어서 우리가 역사를 써내려갈 수 있을지를 고민해야 하는 시기이다라는 이야기를 해주셨어요. 그래서 저희가 앞으로 이 이야기들을 조금 더 지속하면 좋을 것 같은데, 저희 벌써 시간이 질문 하나씩 드렸는데 20분이 끝나서 일단 빠르게 20초씩 작가님들 괜찮으시다면 앞으로 이 활동 크립토 아트 씬에서 어떤 활동을 하고 싶으신지, 혹은 크립토 아트 씬에 바라는 점 한마디씩 부탁드리고 이 세션을 끝내보도록 하겠습니다. 조이조 작가님부터 말씀 부탁드리겠습니다.
아직은 저희가 이 블록체인을 가지고서 이 아트를 이제 이렇게 띄우고 감상할 수 있는 이 시스템 자체가 아직은 너무 산업 초기 단계이기 때문에 이게 실제로 페인팅을 직접 보는 것만큼 되게 생동감 있게 저희가 시간이나 이런 물리적인 제약 없이 더 멋있게 아트를 감상할 수 있는 그런 시스템이 곧 구축될 거라고 생각하고 많이 기대하고 있습니다. 그리고 또 페인팅 하시는 분들뿐만 아니라 디지털 하시는 분들도 마찬가지고, 또 음악 하시는 분들도 아직 되게 목말라 하세요. 이 음악을 어떻게 이 물리적 제약 없이 어떻게 펼칠 수 있을까, 그런 것들을 또 저희 아티스트들은 계속 고민하고 발전시켜 가고 있으니까 산업의 발전과 함께 저희들 다 같이 성장할 수 있으면 좋겠습니다. 감사합니다. 네.
그럼 레지나 작가님 부탁드리겠습니다.
요즘 NFT 시장이 많이 좋지 않은데 저는 앞으로 또 다른 호황기가 또 올 거라고 생각하거든요. 그래서 지금은 뭐 작가든 그다음에 뭐 플랫폼 관계자분들이든 프로그래머든 좀 내실을 다질 수 있는 그런 시간을 갖고 좀 더 좋은 방향으로 갈 수 있게끔 그렇게 잘 됐으면 좋겠습니다. 감사합니다.
감사합니다. 낙타 작가님.
네, 저는 짧게 뭐 바라는 점보다 그냥 하고 싶은 거는 영어를 잘하고 싶고요. 영어를 잘해서 이제 해외 아티스트들과 많이 아트를 사랑하는 분들과 많이 교류를 하면서 이야기 나누고 싶고요. 그리고 저 스스로 아티스트로서 그냥 오래도록 재밌게 작업하고 싶은 게 하고 싶은 일이자 목표입니다. 네, 감사합니다.
네네, 저는 하던 거 계속 할 거고요. 그 크립토 뭐 그런 쪽과 솔직히 언제부터 이게 NFT와 그 제가 하는 작업과 이게 분리가 됐는지 모르겠어요. 다 같은 개념이고, NFT는 뭐 그거 따로 떨어져 있다고 생각하지 않고 그냥 제가 하는 거 하다가 필요하면은 그쪽에서 활동을 할 것이고, 그 제가 하고 있던 거를 그쪽에도 잘 전할 수 있게 하겠죠. 근데 저는 나눠져 있는 개념이 아니라 그냥 예술 안에서는 다 하나라고 생각합니다. 예.
감사합니다. 오늘 이야기 나눠주셔서 정말 감사드리고요. 오늘 조이조 작가님, 레지나 킴 작가님, 낙타 작가님, 요요진 작가님의 작품 세계와 그리고 다양한 이야기들은 저희 사이트 접속하시면 트위터 통해서 혹은 홈페이지 통해서 만나실 수 있으니까 꼭 한번 확인해 주시길 부탁드리겠습니다. 오늘 작가님들 너무 감사드리고요. 들어주셔서 감사합니다.
네, 경험에서 우러나온 한국 NFT 작가들, 크립토 작가들의 이야기를 들을 수 있는 귀중한 시간이었습니다. 시장에 거품이 끼었을 때는 실은 누가 좋은 진정한 작가이고 꾸준히 작품을 이어갈 것인지 분간하는 게 오히려 쉽지가 않습니다. 크립토 아트 씬에서는 더욱 그러하고요. 이 네 분 작가님들의 이름을 그러한 이유에서 신뢰할 수 있는 작가로 또 기억해 주셨으면 좋겠고요. 그 다음 순서는 블라인드 토크입니다. 크립토 아트 서울에서 준비한 영상으로 만나보는 그런 토크 세션인데요. 누구인지 그 얼굴이 드러나진 않습니다. 첫 번째 블라인드 토크의 주인공은요. 크립토 아트 컬렉터입니다. WhaleShark이고요. 저도 영상으로만 만나봤고 무려 40만 개 이상의 크립토 아트 작품을 컬렉팅하고 있는 메가 컬렉터입니다. 네, next in line is a blind talk session. Our first blind talk will feature collector WhaleShark. WhaleShark는 웹3 크립토씬에서는 굉장히 유명하지만 기존의 미술 관계자분들에겐 생소하실 수도 있어서 잠시 설명을 드리자면 가장 큰 규모의 디지털 아트 컬렉터이자 그가 2020년에 최대 규모의 소셜 토큰 커뮤니티 웨일이라는 곳을 설립했습니다. 이곳은 세계에서 가장 값비싸고 귀중한 NFT 컬렉션을 소장하고 있는 그런 단체입니다. WhaleShark is known as one of the largest collectors of digital art. In 2020, he established Whale, which is the largest social token community with the most valuable collection of NFTs in the world. 그럼 영상을 통해서 WhaleShark의 블라인드 토크를 만나보도록 하겠습니다. We have prepared a video presentation featuring our distinguished speaker WhaleShark.
Hello to all listening in the audience of Crypto Art Seoul 2023. My sincere thanks to the organizers for allowing me to speak with all of you today. I go by the pseudonym WhaleShark, and I am known as one of the largest collectors of digital art, or for simplicity's sake, crypto art, in the world today. My journey as a crypto art collector started in 2019, and since then, I've had the privilege to collect over 3,000 artworks from over 200 digital artists and photographers across the world. Prior to being involved in NFTs, I had never had the pleasure of being a part of the art community. Simply put, the traditional art world had too many barriers for a layman with no history, no education, nor expertise in the fine arts. Crypto art changed all of that for me by allowing me to collect and participate in the arts anonymously, without fear of judgment or fear of ridicule, just the ability to collect what I love. To date, while I have collected from over 200 creatives, I am also known for being one of the largest collectors of crypto art OGs such as Xcopy, Hackatao, and Puck. While I could wax poetically about each creative that I've collected from over the years, it would be a conversation of hours, while today I have minutes. So instead, I'd love to share with you two things that I look for in the art that I collect. First of all, I, like all collectors, have a preference for genre. My personal favorites are minimalism and generative art. I enjoy genres of art that are universal and eternal, and not simply the flavor of the week. When we look at minimalist artworks 50 years down the road, they will be as relevant as they are today due to their simplicity, and similarly, looking at generative art will mark an important period of time in history where man and computer join together in the creative process, something that will only continue to advance in the years to come. Secondly, as I collect the digital artworks, I also look for creators who maximize the use of the digital canvas and the quote-unquote paintbrush. The straightest lines, the most perfect circles, and the smallest pixels. Images that jump and move off the digital canvas, which are our screens in front of us today. I truly enjoy creatives who make the most of their natively digital tools and not art that can otherwise be replicated in the 2D physical world of canvas made of paper, linen, or hemp. As a collector of digital art and one of the first large collectors in the crypto art space, I seek to innovate and improve the collector-creator relationship and be an advocate for more parity in the artist market dynamic. The blockchain, smart contracts, and NFTs provide us with an opportunity to end the stereotype of the starving artist. And by being a proponent of core issues such as royalties baked into smart contracts and collector-creator friendships versus financial relationships, I hope to change the way that we perceive the relationship between the artist, the collector, and the market. At the end of the day, all of us who are interested in the arts have been given a gift via the creation of the blockchain. All of us, regardless of our economic status or where we live in the world, have an opportunity to be a world-renowned collector or a highly successful commercial creative. We also have the opportunity to improve the inequalities and lack of transparency that have plagued the traditional art world. Even more so than an opportunity, I believe it truly is a responsibility for all participants in this Web3 art space to ask for more, to ask for better, to be better. I want to thank everyone for their time today, and here's wishing all of you a wonderful Crypto Art Seoul 2023.
네, 그는 실존 인물입니다. 참 재미있는 세상에 우리가 공존하고 있다는 생각이 드는데요. 그 다음 순서는 패널 토론입니다. 토론 주제는 자유의 예술입니다. Following this, we have a panel discussion. The topic of the discussion is Art of Liberation. 자, 이번에 등장하시는 분들을 소개해드리고자 합니다. 본 세션의 좌장은 순수 및 응용미술 분야 석사를 수료한 그리스계 프랑스인 독립 큐레이터이자 이벤트 전문가인 알렉스 아라반티노스입니다. 아티스트 유유, 폴린 파이에프, 폴리곤 1993이 토론에 참여합니다. Alex Aravantinos, an independent curator and event specialist with a master's degree in fine and applied arts, will moderate this session. Joining the session are artist YuYu, Pauline Faieff, and Polygon 1993. 모두 큰 박수로 맞이해 주시기 바랍니다. Let us invite them with a big round of applause.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for being here. My name is Alex, I'm a curator, I'm an occasional writer, and most importantly, I'm an enthusiast about digital art. And I'm joined here today by three trailblazing artists, YuYu, Pauline Faieff, and Polygon 1993. Guys, would you take a few minutes to introduce yourself to our audience, YuYu?
Yes, of course. Hello, everybody. My name is YuYu, and I'm a digital collage artist and photographer. My work is kind of a juxtaposition between classic painting and contemporary photography. So my practice is mostly I want to use my body as a self-portrait, my body as a vessel to carry the story and the emotion I want to share with the audience. And I really want to use this method to kind of change the topic, change the original story of the classic materials, and bring the more contemporary topic. For example, like representation, Asian representation or queer representation into the topic, and break the stigma attached to the nudity. So that's more or less about me. Sorry, I'm a little bit nervous. Please bear with me. So next is Pauline.
It's just between us. You can relax.
Thank you.
Pauline.
Hi everyone, so I'm Pauline. I would describe myself never a model nor a photographer. I'm a passionate artist. I create for my body. I create, I would say, femininity, mixing sensuality, nudity, and poetry. My art is an echo of freedom. My art is therapy. To be more self-confident, to love myself more. And so I visualize an idea and I create self-portraits, but also in collaboration with artists. So this is me.
Polygon, you're the last one.
안녕하세요. I'm Polygon 1993. I'm a French visual artist and film director from Paris. I'm specialized in glitch art, which is the art of happy accidents, I would say. I mainly work with analog gear, such as CRT TVs, video synthesizers, and transistors. So I'm making portraits out of my TVs, basically, and creating alteration in the signal to create distortions and all kind of like happy accidents and colorful portraits. And yeah.
Amazing.
So, by myself.
Today we're discussing liberation. So we're going straight into the deep. And I want to start with Polygon and ask you, how does your work function as a tool for you to liberate either yourself or feel like the art liberates as a concept?
I feel like it's freeing, like creating work, creating portraits, playing with like all the gear I have on my hands, like physical gear. It's freeing myself, and it's a necessity actually. I need to do that to be fully myself. It's not, I'm not thinking of doing things actually. It's natural to do that. It's like when you're hungry or eating something, you know, to calm this. And it's pretty much the same with art. I need to create art to be fully myself, and I want to. There's some things I can't say with words, but I can do it with portraits actually. And I think this is like the most important way of who I am as an artist and as a human being too. Being able to express myself through these cathode ray tubes, all these portraits with the lines. It's creating a story, something that I don't know how to tell with words. And in a way, that's how I'm freeing myself with this, and it's liberating.
I love that, and I think it's inherent in art to, it's a very personal process. And both of you know that very well because you're using yourselves in your art. So Pauline, how does putting yourself in it and putting yourself in the front of your artwork, how does it make you feel? How does it liberate you? What is it, the thing that you want to express through it?
So before doing my art, I was feeling stuck into kind of boxes. I would say because of societal norms. I thought to be pleased, I should have to be someone else. And when I started to do my photographs, I was fully myself, just like you said before. It's like I didn't choose. I just have to be me. And with my art, from my art, I can be fully myself. So I feel more self-confident, and I love myself more.
I love it. And that brings me straight to YuYu, because I think self-confidence is at the very core of your practice, but at the same time, there is a lot of conceptuality behind them. What is the story that your work narrates? What is the reason for you to create those pieces?
Because a little background about me, I'm originally from Taiwan, and 10 years ago I moved to Germany. I started experimenting to collaborate with photographer, but I still find the Asian face is lacking of representation in the whole Western society, especially throughout history in art. So I think, so that's how give me the idea is that if I can put myself, my face, into those classic painting to bring out the story and the discussion, it kind of like a middle finger in a polite way to the classic painting material. So it kind of started from a protest. And eventually I noticed if I can attract the attention to the audience, from the audience, I can start a conversation. So I start to be brave to put myself in there. And as you can see, I'm not a very confident people. And I don't feel comfortable talking in public, but I think through art, I can kind of unlock a part of me and be brave to be the one that I want to present, like in the work that I'm presenting now. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I want to ask actually all three of you, what does it mean exactly to be liberated? Whether through your art or personally as a process of creating art. I'm assuming there is some sort of liberation that you feel. And then this liberation also translates to the work itself. How do you define liberation?
Should I
Pauline?
start? Okay, so for me, liberation, it's not wearing a mask anymore. Being truly myself. I mean, we always feel like we have to be someone else. And with my art, okay, this is nude art, so I can wear anything and I'm just me. I can't pretend anymore. And that's why I love doing it. That's why I feel it's truly aligned with myself. I can't pretend anymore. I would say with social media and life, I wasn't fully myself before. That's why.
Anyone want to add something on the liberation context?
I think, like, to me, being liberated is two words. It's do and be. So you can be yourself, especially in this space in Web3. We are given all a new chance, actually, a fresh start to do whatever we want to do, whatever we want to be. And I think it's important to seize this occasion when it's happening. And we've seen a lot of artists thrive through it and become different because of it, in this approach they had on Web3, and not censor themselves, which is that censorship would be the worst thing happening ever on art. Like,
it will bring me right to the next point, because I think a big part of liberation is also connected to Web3. And how does Web3 provide new opportunities, new means for this liberation to take place, whether artistically on the terms of the creation, but also in how you communicate your work? So how do you utilize Web3, and where do you find the power in Web3 for what you're doing? YuYu?
I think because in the Web3 world, we're connecting. There's no boundary. We're connecting worldwide. So you can meet so many people, start to understand what you are trying to express yourself. And for me, that's kind of a liberation, because when I join the space, I don't know where my place is, because I'm doing male nudity, and I don't know how people will accept me. And eventually, I can find who is believing me, and from them, I can get more opportunity to, like, encourage myself to do better and be louder. So I think that's one of the liberation and kind of push me going forward. So I think that's a beautiful part of Web3.
Pauline, I see you agree with YuYu, but I really want to hear your point as well.
Yeah, every world. Yeah, exactly. I started with Web2 on Instagram, and I was most of the time censored. I felt misunderstood. It was terrible because they decide for us what is art. They decide to sexualize bodies and to control us, I would say. So yes, with Web3 we are liberated because we can post whatever we want. But it's not just about what we can do, it's also about the audience, I would say. It's more responsive. We can share. I would say it's kind of an interactive art gallery, because everyone in the space, from artists to collectors to funders, they want to share their thoughts, their point of view. So at least we are able to share our art. That's what we cannot do on Web2, and that's why I love Web3. Just being able to speak about it. If you don't like it, it's fine, but just let me speak about it.
You all three have a lot of experience with Web2. I mean, you build your brands primarily on Instagram before Web3. And what is the biggest difference that you think exists between Web2 and Web3? What is it that makes Web3 so special for an artist to be involved in it? Polygon?
What happened with Web3 actually is that I get to work with myself and just for myself. I'm just making things I want to do, and I'm not like bound to a client work. I'm not bound to what they want me to do, and I think it's very important. And it reassures me in a way that I mean something for some people that get to know me actually through my work, which is very important actually, because you're not fully aware of that unless you actually sell a piece of your art, you know, in a gallery or in Web3 as NFTs. And I think that's the biggest shift compared to Web2, is that working for myself and learning how to appreciate working just for me and doing things I want to do. That would be like.
It comes with a challenge also, I'm assuming.
Obviously.
Because working for yourself, you have to make sure that you're doing every part of this entire process. And I want to ask actually all of you that part of liberating yourself creatively, it might also mean that you remove a lot of assistants like galleries or people who were around to basically help you do your things. But at the same time, it comes with a positive that you can build personal relationships with your collectors, et cetera, et cetera. Is these challenges that Web3 brings for you are better than what Web2 was offering?
I think it's different actually, because I'm only speak for myself, but I have like food on the two sides. Like I'm making a living through Web2, and I have also a different pool of collectors on Web3. So I would say it's 50-50 at some point. So it's different. I'm not doing the same things actually, which is a good thing for me because I get to work with anything I want to do and telling the stories I want to tell with my art in Web3 and do my own venture and not being, you said it would be difficult actually to be only your own judge and your biggest enemy too in doing your own thing, because there's no stopping at it. You don't know where to go, you have no limits, which is terrifying. At the same time, it's liberating. So I would say that it's actually a good thing that it kicked the ants. You know, it's allowing us to do something else from Web2 and become something else.
I want to ask another thing, mainly to you two, Pauline and YuYu. You both use the nude form as a primary mean in your work to communicate. And Web3 is a space that operates mainly with straight male, which can very easily come to what you said, Pauline, that there is a sexualization of the nude form. Does this in Web3 is more widespread than it is in Web2, you think?
I want to answer the question, also touch to the last question, the Web3, Web2, because we might think, oh, Web3 is a liberation, everything is so open, you can do whatever you want. But my feeling about it is really like in Web2, the audience worldwide. So for me, doing queer nude art is, I have more ability to approach to a new audience. But in the Web3, somehow we know who navigate this space is very cis straight men. I'm sorry to say that. So there's a little boundary for me what I'm doing, but it's kind of, for me, it's like kicking the ass, like you say. It's like I have to break it. It feels like a mission right now that I want to kind of introduce my work. My naked body is not pornographic. We'll have to open our mind to see what's behind this JPEG, because there's so much to say. And if you just wear the glasses to see, oh, it's pornographic, there's nothing we can go forward. So this kind of become my mission in this space, and try to have conversation, educate each other, open our mind. How about you, Pauline?
I would say yes, I have the same experience, but more with Web2 actually, because my audience on Instagram is mostly male. So it was really complicated for me to spread my message. It's not about pornographic, it's not about getting attention, it's not about that. It's about self-expression. And with Web3, I feel I was able to talk about it, but still, we have to educate everyone. I mean, because it's controversial, we will always have to explain. So I feel like our art needs words to be understood. But with Web3, I was able to do it.
Totally agree. Polygon, you want to add something?
Yeah, I wanted to add, like, we have to educate people through this type of work we're doing, actually, to show them that nudity is not like bound to actually pornography or any kind of erotic or sexualizing human bodies. And it comes with this type of work we're doing and deconstructing the mind of people who are not aware of that. And I know it's pretty tricky to do, but we'll get to there eventually at some point because of what we're doing. So hopefully this will work.
In a space that primarily functions through social media, so it's very image-based, how can we, I mean, both you as an artist, but all of us as participants of the space, how can educate each other? How can we contextualize those artworks to attract more people, to overcome the fact that this is a tech industry and focus more that this is a tech industry that includes also a big part of art and a lot of artists that have a lot of conceptual ideas and a lot of expression that they need to share with the world? How can we bring more people who are actually interested in the art in this space? I know this might not be a question that we can answer, but it's a nice discussion to have.
It's a really hard question because I feel like in this space there are so many professional art educator and art professional. For example, a lot of professional curator. They care about the context of art. And in my, from my experience, I try to write threads, to explain the story, and hoping people will read behind it. And it's really hard. So that's also why I push myself to go to physical event, to meet people in person. Because the things I present online, you might think, oh, I'm just a narcissistic, self-centered, self-portrait artist. But I just want to put myself in front of you and tell you, I'm just a human. I want to tell a story. And then maybe you can know more about me, about us. So that's what I'm doing at the moment. What about you, Pauline and Polygon?
That's a tricky thing to do. I think it comes with like an artist statement about what you're doing and why you're doing it for this particular reason, depending on what you're showing to people in the audience. Especially when you're in front of people who don't understand and don't get what you mean by doing nude photography, because they only see that as a naked body, actually, or the only way they see naked body is because of like erotic films, for instance. And they're not like familiar with all this type of stuff. And it comes with like censorship in a way, and we have to like, because of social medias, because we're getting banned from platforms when we're putting work like this, when we're showing too much, but maybe we haven't shown enough. And I think that's the tricky part, where we have to tell people that this is not like sexualizing anything. This is just who you are. You are like that too, you know. We all have the same bodies. We're all the same, pretty much. And I think it's really important to remind them of that.
I would say yes, we need more IRL events just like here. I would say what we need is to be able to speak about it, because we are not able to do it on social media, even on media. I mean, if we think about nude, we think porn, we think erotic, and people don't know what is really are. So what we need is to be able, yes, to express ourselves. That's what I'm...
You're all three part of a growing, I want to believe, movement of crypto art. And crypto art is just a vague term. I mean, it's not, the artists that are part of it are not necessarily artists who share the same ideas or the same practice, but we are all in the same, under the same bubble of crypto art. And I'm really curious, as an artist, what do you consider to be the most challenging aspect of crypto art?
Sure, I go first. I think the biggest challenge is that the space is still so young, so small, and it's really hard to push to the new audience, to explain people, oh, we navigate in this crypto space, and how to, for example, we discuss in private, like mass adoption, to introduce the normie that, oh, crypto art and cryptocurrency can be a great ecosystem for creative people like us. So this is the biggest challenge. So that's also why every time there's an art fair, we crypto people, we go there and show them there's art exists in the crypto ecosystem. So I think that's where we're trying to push the best. What about you guys?
I would say challenging traditional art also, because people think crypto art, it's not art most of the time, but I mean I do photographs, so photographs it's art. You just have to switch the mind of people, I would say, to express what it is and why it's so important to take in consideration crypto art.
Yeah, I think I'll say whatever you said. Actually, it's challenging in the way that we have to make people understand that we're doing art through this new medium that is the crypto and NFTs and on-chain art now, because that's how we say it now. But make sure that we start something fresh from that. No censorship whatsoever, that we're getting to a new point where we're actually better than what we did in the traditional world. Something new, something where we're not like forced to do things or blocked. There's gatekeepers, and that's the biggest challenge, I think. It's growing out of all these bad elements and bad seeds from the traditional space and be better, actually, with this one.
I think this conversation is extremely interesting, and we are sort of running out of time. So I would really love if anyone has questions for any of the panelists here, and you would like to ask it, please raise your hand and I will bring the microphone to you. Anybody?
In your painting, in your work, your body has a different texture than the rest of the painting. And I wanted to know if it's a conscious choice and why you make it. I'm just curious about that.
Oh, it's kind of a conscious choice because I like to editing myself. I use collage methods to build my body together. Use like 100 different pictures to build myself together, put it in the painting. And I try to make it as realistic as possible, but I also don't want to look exactly like a painting because I'm the person to invade in the Western history culture, and I want to this taste still inside it. Yes, so I hope I answered your question. Thank you.
Before we close, I want to ask one last question again to all of you. If you could change something, whether it's only in Web3 or whether it is in the art world overall, what would you change? What would you see? What would you like to see changing to benefit artists?
That's a large question, actually.
I came with the hard questions today.
Yeah. I think to be more, not friendly, because the way I see it in my bubble, actually, I only surround myself with good people, I think. So I know some people had like bad experiences in Web3 or in traditional space. So I wish we grow better and
I just want something to involve. Like I would like maybe a platform with less censorship, but also just keep going. Like just let us be as artists. Let us shine free. That's it.
YuYu?
The only thing I want to change, it doesn't matter if it's Web3 or Web2, I want to change the hype culture because the hype is blinding us. We cannot really see what's difference between the artists. We only hype the 5 names in the space. So if we don't have this kind of hype and FOMO things, we can really to see the difference and discover new talents. So that's the only thing I want to change, and maybe we can head into a better direction.
So, okay, I would like to add something about that. Okay, what I would love to change is societal norms.
Yeah.
But I'm not such a dreamer, but I hope, we will be able to be ourselves, just like we want to be. That's all I want for everyone.
I love it. My personal wish, I know nobody asked me, but I will say it.
Yes, take the stage.
Is to give more space for artists. And I think those kind of conversations and those discussions where you bring the artists on stage with their art on the background and you get this opportunity to discuss your points and to discuss what you need as creators to be more successful. I think that that's what I want to see from this space more, and luckily we see more and more events of this type. So a big thank you to the production and for everybody who invited those people. Thank you personally for being here with me and answering my questions.
Thank you so much.
Everybody.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you.
Let's give everyone a big round of applause. 네, 시간이 부족한 게 참 아쉽다는 마음이 들고요. 저희 바로 이어서 그 다음 세션을 이어가 보도록 하겠습니다. 다음 순서는 도대체 어떻게 섭외하셨을까요? 해카타오와의 대담입니다. 그리다 큐레이터님이 대담을 진행해 주실 거고요. 영상과 이 현장이 연결되어서 진행될 예정입니다. The upcoming session features a talk with the distinguished artist Hackatao. 해카타오는 크립토 씬에서는 굉장히 유명한 아티스트인데 조금 더 설명을 드리자면 혼자가 아니라 아티스트 듀오입니다. 그리고 크립토 아트 씬의 예술가이자 크립토 아트 무브먼트의 선구자, 개척자라는 평가를 받고 있고요. 저는 소더비 메타버스 플랫폼에서 해카타오의 작품들을 계속 지켜봤는데 오늘 현장에서 어떤 이야기를 나눌지 정말 기대가 됩니다. Hackatao is an artist duo experimenting with different technique in a unique style. As OG or the gangster artists, they are among the pioneers of crypto art movement. 자, 그러면 큰 박수로 그리다 작가님, 모더레이터님을 환영해 주시길 바랍니다. 네. Let us give a round of applause, Grida.
Wow, it's me again. And hello everyone again. Hello. Let's start with the clapping. Let's welcome Hackatao. Attention please. Now we have only 15 minutes, and this 15 minutes will disappear in your life forever. So if you could just, attention for our conversation, which is really great with Hackatao, then they'll be really, really cool. Hello, Hackatao. Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, you guys see us well?
We don't see you.
Okay.
We see beautiful Queens and Kings avatar.
Yeah.
In the Web3 move.
Sorry, excuse me. I think I don't hear the Sandy well. Do you think we can change some sound? It sounds like a little bit cloudy, if it's okay with you. Here we have three characters, and these are all Hackatao's series called Queens and Kings, and I would love to provide the better sound for you if it's okay with you. Could you speak something, Sandy? Then we can check the audio.
Check. 1, 2, 3. Can you hear us?
Yes. Yeah, it's cool. Okay. How are you, Hackatao? How are you? How do you feel today?
Everything's fine. Thank you so much. So just a quick introduction. I'm Sandy. I'm Hackatao's manager. As Grida and lots of you know, Hackatao are very reserved, so they usually keep this anonymous style, but I will be the spokesperson. So I will reply to all the questions dedicated to Hackatao, and you can see us transform in our beautiful Queens+Kings collection.
Okay, would you introduce yourself and the Hackatao as well to us?
Yeah, sure. Hackatao are an artistic duo. They are among the pioneers in the cryptosphere, so they are OG artists. Since the early beginning in 2018, they were already on super rare, among the first. And they have a particular name. I know Grida is very in love with the name Hackatao. This name represents the duality of souls and the styles of these two artists merged together to create balance and bring order out of chaos. The combination of Hack and Tao. So Hack refers to the process of going under the skin and seeking what is beneath. And the Tao refers to the philosophy of yin and yang. There are the two parts of the world and many parties to the world. And Hackatao have a deep love for Asian culture and philosophy. So this Tao meaning is very important for them and is reflected in their art and as well in their name. And I am just the spokesperson and the manager.
Thank you so much. For me, Hacker and Tao, plus also the Hackatao is combined with two duo called SNN. It's also the two different sides from the magnet. So I figured that Hackatao always cares about the two different values combining together and making a good balance. As you see, we see very detailed black and white drawings plus very simple, colorful character together. It's also, we can see the two different values also making a different, sorry, I think I'm a little bit nervous, but anyway, making a new cool style. So thank you for your explanations. Now we see Hackatao's exhibition just over there, right? If you could explain about your exhibition for Crypto Art Seoul, that would be great.
Sure. Hackatao is presenting two different projects at Crypto Art Seoul, both Hack of a Bear and Queens+Kings. Hack of a Bear is the destined meeting between Hackatao and Leonardo da Vinci, the great master. They share numerous similarities with Leonardo, including their utilization of diverse artistic techniques and a shared affinity for drawing. They also share common traits such as the dyslexia and an insatiable curiosity for nature and the sciences. In this particular piece, Hackatao engaged in a profound artistic conversation with the master Leonardo, reimagining his head of a bear artwork. Through the transformative power of AR, Hackatao breathed new life into this work, forging a visual connection that serves as an artistic umbilical cord between past and present. And it was first shown during the Christie's auction in London in July 2021. So it's a really impressive and immersive artwork. So please also to hear the sound, because there is headphone as well. So please be immersed into this experience. And the other project, that's Queens+Kings, the one that you can already see into this conversation, and it's an artistic project exploring the PFP scene that is focused on subverting hierarchies into the crypto art world. And maybe we can say something more on that.
Yeah, after this talk, if you could go check out their exhibition, then that could be really nice. And then the second question is, Hackatao has many available, amazing artworks, and Hackatao is one of the first crypto art minter from Super Rare. They have amazing one-of-one series, and plus the memorable series called Queens+Kings. Actually, we used to call Kings and Queens, but Hackatao is Queens and Kings. So if you could explain more about Queens and Kings series and then their role in the Web3 scene, that would be great.
Sure, thank you, Grida. Well, Queens and Kings is a unique in many different ways. First of all, the collectors are co-creators in the artistic process, as they have the ability to interchange traits and create their own unique royal. This process is also referred to as hacking, and what I can do is also to share with you the OpenSea link to the collection, so you can see a bit the amazing creatures that have been combined by our collectors that are our community. So it's a huge subversion of the traditional roles in the art scene, also in the Web3 scene, because usually the collector buys the artwork. But here, what Hackatao wants is that the collector is involved in the creative process and can also create and recreate the artwork that he is buying. So, and another plus is that the collectors are also involved in the discussion with Hackatao about the project and where to take it forward, continuous sort of brainstorming between artists and collectors to become altogether a community of creators. As the title of this conference today says, we fight tyranny, one Queens and Kings at a time, because we are all Queens and Kings. Well, as said, Queens and Kings are built up of completely interchangeable traits, each of which is hand-drawn by Hackatao with immense attention to the detail and the care being put on all of them. So as we can come back to the normal presentation, and as you can see here, we are 3 Queens and Kings, and the background of this call is the Hackatao tropical texture, and it's composed by a lot of research with symbols, words, expression. This texture is a really rich texture, and it's the typical and unique Hackatao style. Well, when people say that PFP projects are dead, what we can answer is that this is absolutely not just a PFP project, but it's an artistic project. And it continues to evolve and to grow as there are always new functions and tools being introduced to the Queens and Kings kingdom. For example, just few information, there is the tool referred to as freezing, which allows collectors to gain commercial rights over their avatar. And this is a big opportunity for sovereigns to explore other worlds freely. And for example, I really want to share with you a quick review of a big surprise that has not been revealed completely yet. That we gave some information, some rumors inside our Discord community, but the first revelation is that Hackatao are working on a series of short animated films entirely inspired by the Queens and Kings universe that will be released early next year. So this project is growing and also moving into another world with the artistic touch of Queens and Kings, but in the short animated films. And in a couple of weeks, a new tool will be introduced, the burning tool, to reduce the scale of the realm as well. That is important in the discussion with our collectors. And so I can share with you the website where you can see a little bit the information about the project and some composition. And inside here, from the September 15, you'll find on the top, next to Hack the Royals, also the burning button. So we invite you to go and discover more, because it's always very interesting and passionate to see how we can develop with this project. And last but not least, Another surprise is that on September 20th, the Queens and Kings collection on the sandbox will be ready for action. So for all the sovereigns that froze their avatar last spring when we announced it during NFT Paris, we have worked, the sandbox team has worked with Hackatao a lot to create a Queens and Kings collection in the sandbox. And so just a couple of weeks to see the realization that will be launched. And for those who have not participated yet, we are running as well a giveaway. The giveaway will be launched next week on Hackatao Discord. So don't miss it, because you can win a Queens and Kings Royal and the digital sandbox Hackatao that is related to this royal. So a lot of new things coming up. I said a lot, I'm sorry.
That was really cool to know how the story started. One of the issues that our scene has was males and female. I don't say it's a problem, but it's an issue, because based on this blockchain system, we have less women and more men. So point of that, Hackatao has been doing supporting many women artists, and plus the name itself starting from Queens and Kings. Also, I can see that we try to make a balance, and which is really important, making the balance. So the last question is, are you a woman or man, Asian, European? So Hackatao is known as Undoxxed. In the scene, we have many Undoxxed artists and collectors. So we would love to know the reason why you are staying Undoxxed, please.
Well, what we can reveal is that Hackatao is a couple, and is a woman and a man. So that's also the reason why this balance is always present. And Queens and Kings project really wanted to have this genderless approach, and people can recreate their avatar as they want, mixing also traits that are more female and more male. Well, S and N are a man and a woman, but as told before, they are very reserved. We can say that Hackatao are as the bear that is immersed in the forest creating art. So that's the reason why they don't want to reveal more. They are not interested in PR or other stuff, but they want to keep this Undoxxed nature.
Okay, any last words, please? Oh yeah, that's mine. Sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a big surprise.
Personally, this is my Hackatao, and I'm a holder of Hackatao. I'm so proud, and it really brings my digital identity, and I'm so proud that I do the moderation actually, and thanks to SNN and Sandy Hackatao to present my PAP with sandbox version. Sebastien, do you see this one right now? So, yes, please go ahead, Sandy.
That's the really new preview we just have received just a few minutes before launching this conference, and this is the banner that we will use to launch the giveaway that I mentioned. So next week you can also participate all to this beautiful giveaway. And this is a little bit how the Queens and Kings collection looks like in the sandbox, and we are very happy to share with the sandbox team this collaboration. We have worked a lot with them in the last years, so we are very happy also that Sebastien is there and the sandbox team is there. Big hug to everyone. We really would love to be there with you physically, but we are here with our Queens and Kings collection, sharing this preview, and it's a bit of our surprise for Grida. To thanks for this moderation today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you, SNN. And please, our attendees, friends, view the Hackatao exhibition and follow Hackatao. And let's keep watching our Hackatao. Thank you so much. Thank you. It was Grida. And it was me.
네, 아주 흥미로운 세션이었습니다. 저는 처음에 이게 녹화 영상인 줄 알았는데 우리나라에선 줌을 많이 쓰잖아요. 근데 페이스리스라고 하는 실시간으로 소통할 수 있는 플랫폼이라고 합니다. 자, 저희 시간이 많이 흐르고 있기 때문에 제가 다음 순서로 바로 넘어가 보도록 하겠습니다. 다음은 다다 아트의 이야기를 들어볼 차례입니다. Next in line, you have the opportunity to hear from DADA.art. 자, 다다 아트가 어떠한 곳인지, 이곳을 이끄는 분들은 누구인지 소개를 해드릴 건데요. 입장하실 때 큰 박수를 부탁드리도록 하겠습니다. 먼저 주디 맴은 다다 아트의 공동 창립자입니다. 다다는 사람들이 함께 그림을 그리며 시각적인 대화를 나누는 글로벌 아트 컬렉티브이고요. Judy is the co-founder of DADA.art, a global art collective where people draw together, curating visual conversation. 그리고 아티스트인 베아트리스 이모스는 다다의 창작자이기도 하고요. 최근에도 저작권 사용료인 로열티 논쟁이 오픈시를 비롯한 여러 플랫폼에서 이어지고 있는데 2017년 저작권 사용료 자동화를 이끈 장본인이기도 합니다. Beatriz Ramos is an artist and creator of DADA and NFT pioneer with the automatic royalty in 2017. 두 분을 큰 박수로 맞이해 주시기 바랍니다. 네, Let's give a big round of applause.
Good evening, Seoul. We are so happy to be here. We are so grateful to be here. And we cannot just be more grateful to the organizers of this thing because it's been lovely and we're thrilled. So without further ado, I think we've already been introduced, but I'm Judy Mam. This is Beatriz Ramos, and we both founded DADA in 2014. DADA is a visual conversation platform where people speak to each other through drawings. As you can see behind me, this is a visual conversation that we call pop art. It was made in our platform by artists. Each one of the lines has 5 drawings made by different artists from different parts of the world. So in DADA, let me see if I need another click. Let's see, yes. So in DADA, you draw on our platform. Nothing is uploaded. And you make a drawing with a very simple tool. And the reason the tool is simple is because we didn't want people to be intimidated so that they could draw without having to fear any kinds of too many features. And you respond to somebody else's drawing. But in order to respond to a drawing, you need to earn the right to reply. Because as you can see from this conversation, you cannot just come in and you have to respect the effort of the people who came before you. So in DADA, you come to make art, to play, to express yourself in complete freedom. Artists around the world draw together, and we have artists from everywhere. There's no expectation to make any money. There's no shilling. There's no having to produce. There's no selling. There's no buying. It's like a giant canvas where people make art. And as you can see, it's kind of like a giant music jam because whoever starts the first conversation, like this one was like self-portraits, the next person follows in the same theme, and it creates a work of art by everyone. So Bea, who is an artist and who is the person who had the idea of DADA, knew that art has all this intrinsic value and all this amazing emotional, psychological, artistic, cultural value. But it also has a financial value. And we were trying to think, well, how can we capture this financial value, this monetary value for our community? How do we honor the abundance of the value in DADA? How do we capture the value and also distribute it in the community, also without kind of risking the integrity of the platform, of the artists, and of the community? And so in 2017, we started learning about the blockchain. We learned about the rare pepes and the CryptoPunks, which were at the time very influential and still today projects that were creating art on the blockchain, what at the time we called rare art. And when we saw this, we understood what the blockchain could do for DADA. What the blockchain could do was to allow us to capture the value for the community and to distribute it. And to also, what was important to us is to also create a decentralized system of governance. So in 2017, October of 2017, we took the CryptoPunks contract, we adapted it, and we created our own decentralized autonomous art marketplace, which was separated from the drawing platform. And it was done with the Crips and Weirdos collection. You're going to see, this is what the marketplace looked like. It was a curated collection of 108 drawings made by 30 artists. It was a collection of 16,600, an edition of 16,600, and it was influenced by the dank aesthetic of the Rare Pepes and also by the CryptoPunks, their autonomous marketplace. So here you can see actually the prices were, you know, it says like the cheap ones were like $16, but actually at the very beginning they were like $5. And that was our marketplace. So in January of 2018, we were invited to participate, and we helped organize the first Rare Art Festival, which happened in New York, and was an event that crystallized the crypto art community. And from then, we continued innovating both artistically, technologically, and economically. And we became a very complex ecosystem where it's not only about artists, it doesn't only include artists, but we have economists, we have technologists, we have an ethnographer, we have writers, we have collectors, we have artists, and we have friends. Our first innovation was actually the drawing platform. Let me see, yes. Because the drawing platform, you know, there are other maybe games where you can draw together with other people. But the innovation of DADA is in the conversation, that you are responding to art with art, and that you are creating, it can be a narrative or it can be a sequence, but you are working together, having a dialogue through art. And what that does, it creates a series of emotions and of connection between the artists that I cannot understate how powerful that is. We actually call that the DADA effect. Validation, a sense of belonging, creativity, community. The second important innovation is that we were the first to code royalties into smart contracts for artists, the first ever to do this for artists in this collection of the Crips and Weirdos. And at the time, what we did was, in the first, you know, royalties would be automatic. For the first sales, artists got 70%, and DADA got 30%. The DADA fund for the community got 30%. And in secondary sales, we had a 30% royalty for the artists, 60% for the collectors, and 10% for the DADA fund. But way in the day where no one was even thinking about royalties. And you can see, so these are some of the Crips and Weirdos. Then we did a really interesting collaboration with kitty hats. I don't know if any of you remember, but in 2018, the crypto kitties were all the rage. And people were collecting crypto kitties. So the kitty hats people who did accessories for the kitties said, well, why can't the cats collect art? So they created this very interesting token where you could have a layer token of 3 images of 3 different projects, crypto kitties, kitty hats, and DADA. And it was all in one NFT, and the cats actually were owners of the art. Let's see what else. Then we did this other amazing experiment called Sight Unseen at the Radical Exchange conference in where was it? Not Cleveland, in Detroit. They did the first time of a channel auction. A channel auction is a combination English auction and Dutch auction, which is less speculative. And for this auction, we created a drawing performance right there, and people were bidding as the art was being created. So they didn't know what they were bidding on. You can see I was the auctioneer, and this was the end result. And the people who won the auction pulled together to own the art together. Let me see what's coming. Then in 2019, we were invited by Mogda and Serena Tabaki to perform at the Tate Gallery in London. We had another live drawing performance. We had artists from DADA drawing in the museum. We had artists from DADA from all over the world being live streamed and drawing a conversation also at the museum. And we had people in the museum drawing on DADA. So it was a really amazing event. And that was the first time that we introduced DADA.art. DADA.art was created in 2019 as a collaboration with roboticist Alex Reben. We wanted to explore what it meant to be an automated artist. We want to create a bot that could draw from the collection of 115,000 drawings that we had in DADA at the time. So using a style gun, which is now an obsolete technology, we created this robot called DADA.art, who creates drawings based on Dada drawings. And DADA.art is now on its way to become a fully automated artist, a fully automated AR artist. It has its own Twitter, it has its own marketplace, it has a new piece that you can see in the elevator in the Super Chief show of hands, and it's going to become an automated artist all by itself.
It has a better resume than mine.
Yeah, it has a better resume than many of the artists. We also, for this project, No Justice, No Peace, we used the blockchain to protest against injustice, racial and social injustice. We actually tokenized the very difficult to find pictures of the policemen who had killed black unarmed people. We tokenized their pictures, and we created wallets in the names of each one of their victims. And what we did is that we destroyed the key phrases to all those wallets. So these pictures are indelibly put in the blockchain, and no one can ever alter them. And finally, we have my part of the thing. We have it's not the final part. I still have a way to go. We have a marketplace called Dada Place, where you can collect the historic 2017 creeps, you can collect the historic 2019 Dada.art portraits, and other collections. Even though we did royalties back in the day, we do not enforce them anymore, and the reason why we don't do it is because we believe that in a very speculative market, royalties don't really ever reach the majority of artists. They only are good for the artists that make the most money. So now all of the funds that come in from sales of our collections go to the Dada Fund, and they are distributed in the community. And as you can see, Dada is far more than just a drawing platform. As I said, it's an ecosystem, but it's also a group of artists. And every time we have an opportunity, we get together. It's called the Dada Collective. We get together around the world, and we create exhibitions, we create installations, we create immersive works. We have been in Valparaiso, Prague, London, New York, Barcelona, Zurich, and hopefully one day we'll be here as well. Last year, we organized the first historic NFT festival in Barcelona, because we feel it's really important for people to know the history of NFTs. You don't know where NFTs are going to be if you don't know where they come from. And it was a really super cool festival, and where we actually want to preserve, to discuss, and to exchange ideas about the history of NFTs. And to commemorate the festival, we created this really cool memento, which is actually an NFT where we recreated in virtual reality the exact exhibition called The Past of the Future NFTs from 2011 to 2019. And this is when you get the NFT, you actually see the exhibition exactly in the way it was presented in Barcelona. And that's actually the opening party, so that's where you see people dancing and stuff in the exhibition.
All right, good, thank you. Oh. Okay, so I'm going to talk about the future. Probably the last 6 years of data can be represented in this image. We call it the hills. It's basically the concept of locat maxima, which is that you think that you have a goal, you're going to get to the top of the mountain, and then you reach the goal. And then when you get there, you realize that there is another mountain, and you have to go down and go up again to reach what you want. So early on, we realized that the NFT market was just a replica of the traditional art market. And we decided to work on an economy and a new social structure. So the second hill, the first hill, which is the crypto art market, is a system that is optimized for money, is a star system in which only few people reap most of the rewards. The majority of people try and fail. It's a system that produces inequality. And so DADA is on the second hill, which is a system that is optimized for protection, the protection of our intrinsic values, the things that we care about and we love. And so through the invisible economy, when we reach the top of the hill, we realize that it's actually another hill and that we're trying to reach, which is a place in which is not longer tied to the market, but it's like a place in which money is not as we know it, and we don't even have to sell art. So in 2020, we presented the Invisible Economy paper, which is basically based on a, is it?
Press
Okay.
once and it'll happen.
Yeah.
Press
Okay.
again.
Well, basically, it's based on one important insight. I'm going to do it again.
There you go.
One important insight, which is that at the moment that intrinsic motivations are replaced by extrinsic rewards, so the love for art, to make art, is replaced by making money, intrinsic motivations diminish or disappear. And so the skills, creativity is bad for art, for innovation. So our hypothesis back then was, if we want to preserve intrinsic motivations of people, then we have to make the economy invisible. And we have to radically separate the making the art, the relations, the things that we care about from the market. And so we have what we call a ground truth, which is, I think it's twice, yeah?
Try, but do it.
Yeah, which is that if our actions, if what we're doing it because of intrinsic rewards, because the activity in itself is what is gratifying, then that's sort of the action that we take is a gift for us, and it's also a gift for the community. And so, please, yeah. And so, the gift for the community, which is also how we contribute to the community, which is how we contribute to the commons. And so in a way, it's like we have the freedom to do what we want at the same time that we're creating collective wealth. And so one of the things, the DOT system is, we believe in being radically open. So in DADA, anyone can go and draw and have a conversation. And we don't censor anything. We don't have any type of flagging or downvoting, and yet there is no trolling and there is no bullying within the platform because we created an environment in which it's based in trust and people build trust. So you can make a drawing, but you have to earn the right to reply to a drawing. And in this way, the entire ecosystem is based in trust. And we also designed a value framework called DADAgram, which is, it's basically a way of sort of a compass so that we balance the material base, the spiritual parts, and at the same time, the freedom, the autonomy of an artist or a person, and the community and the fairness. So try to balance all of it, which is important. One of the challenges was how do we measure the intangible values? Let's say, how do you measure the love for what you do or generosity? And if you get a leaderboard and say, well, a ranking that Judy is the most generous person in the room and Gordon is the second, then it's done. So we realized that we don't have to measure it, we just need to represent the emotions, the actions, the values that we contribute to the community. And unlike DAOs, we don't vote when we're making decisions. We don't have a token, governance token, there is a financial instrument. What we have is a sort of grammar, a process of deliberation. We come together, it doesn't matter, we don't have to agree. We have a punk and a pastor and an atheist, and what we do is that we sit and go deep into issues. And we think, well, in this context, with the information that we have, with the people in the room, this is we're aligned, and this is the best thing that we can do moving forward. And Chef Nemo is a computer scientist and a token engineer, designed and modeled the invisible economy in math, and she created or designed a protocol based on our smart contracts so that it runs an infrastructure for the invisible economy so that we can have the time to create and contribute and make decisions together.
Bring your mic closer to your closer.
Here? Okay. So this summer, we were honored with a retrospective at the Meet Digital Culture Center in Milan. The entire museum was dedicated to DADA. We made art, we did workshops, we did VR and performances. And it was interesting to look back at everything we've done, especially moving forward. We're going to be 10 years next year, and we're going to celebrate those 10 years. I think we start here in Korea, actually, at the Uncommon Gallery. And as we celebrate these 10 years, and we keep moving to that third hill, we are going into creating a system that is no longer tied to the market, no longer where you have to work so hard to make money so that you're free and happy, but instead a system in which you're free and happy because you can do the things that you love, and because all your talent, your energy, your passion is going into a thing that you believe in, that we're doing it on our own terms and with people we love and respect. And so I invite, if you like what we're doing, I invite all of you to join and help us build this future. And thank you so much.
Último slide.
What a passionate presentation. Thank you, Beatriz and Judy ma'am. 우리 다음 순서로 바로 넘어가 봐야 할 것 같습니다. 드디어 마지막 순서입니다. 마지막 순서는 크립토 아트 서울이 야심차게 준비한 세션인데요. Undoxxed Fireside라고 하는 세션이에요. 이 세션은 Undoxxed가 본인의 정체성을 공개하지 않는이란 뜻이 있고요. Fireside 하면 난로가, 그곳에서 우리가 친근하게 편안하게 이야기를 나누는 분위기를 의미합니다. 그래서요. 탈을 쓰고 누구인지 공개하지 않은 상태에서 나눌 주제는 무엇이냐 하면, 그래서 대체 크립토 아트는 뭔데, 무엇이 크립토 아트인데에 대한 치열한 토론과 대담이 이어질 전망입니다. It is a hottest session of our conference where people share their genuine and raw opinion about the crypto art theme. The topic of the Undoxxed Fireside is what is crypto art and art. 다시 한번 박수로 누군지 모르지만 패널분들을 환영해 주시길 바랍니다. Let's give a round of applause to welcome our panelists and Sam to the stage.
Thank you. So one of the ideas behind this panel was that we would put masks on people and make their voice unrecognizable. And the result would hopefully be that they would say very controversial things and whatever they're thinking because they're anonymous. Now, I'm not sure that they're fully anonymous because we can see their hair and other things.
We can still say controversial things.
Wait, say that again?
We can still say controversial things.
Yeah, but I'm hoping that even though we sort of know who they are, you can still get some controversy from them. So that's the goal here. The microphones are going to adjust their voices, but let's start out just with a quick, let's start on a positive note because we do work in an exciting industry, and I'm curious. One thing I've learned through interacting with people is everyone has different things about digital art and about NFTs that they're excited about. And I'm curious, in your roles and your work, what are the things that make you the most excited about this technology and about this movement?
Making a lot of money.
Making a lot of money, all right.
Yeah, if you can flip something, it's interesting. Otherwise, I don't know. For me, it's just JPEG. Yeah, what I love most are the PFPs. PFPs are the best. They're the most original thing that ever happened in life. Bored apes. Wow! What a beautiful project. So fucking cool. Not. Okay. To be honest, I just love manipulating the market. You know, the narrative on this topic is so new. Nobody knows what we're talking about. At the end of the day, it's very easy to simplify and just dumb it down, and then anybody will buy the crypto artist, literally anything.
All right.
Let's take a selfie. We can mint it later.
All right, so we got some caricatures at least of the things that are wrong with this industry, I'd say. I'm curious from your experiences. I think the past couple years, you know, if we were here 18 months ago, it'd be a very different conversation about the state of crypto art, kind of in the broader art space. Do you think that things just got too hot in the space and it got too bubbly, or do you think that there was something that was kind of fundamentally wrong that got exposed? What do you think's actually been driving a bit of the contraction we've seen over the past year?
No one has any money anymore. It's a problem. Everybody, like collectors don't have money, artists want money, no one buys. But it's not that things got hot. No, seriously, speculation is toxic. If people are just saying, well, I want to fill my bags, and I don't care about the art or the artist, well, you know, it's a sad turn of affairs. I don't agree. I know you don't. No, I think the question is interesting because, you know, you have a lot of people who's been in the space a long time ago. And for example, you know, it's true that when you are collecting art, you know, whatever we say, it's an investment. You know, it could be, you know, you have value, and this is all the point, you know, with NFTs also, is to give the ability to potentially create a market. So, you know, instead of speculation, you just have, I would say, short-term, middle-term, long-term investment. And I would say that what creates the market is the difference of interest, you know. Maybe, you know, you can have long-term investors because you have short-term and middle-term investors. And I'm not sure, you know, that, you know, do we really need a market without flippers, for example, or without traders? I'm not sure because they're bringing value in the space also. Yeah, I make a distinction between investors and collectors. Investors are people who speculate, who are just looking towards their end return. Collectors, I think, are a slightly different breed. It's different, but in a way, even collectors, you know, they want the things they are collecting to continue to not decrease at least, you know, and if they can increase, it's better. And so it's just a question of term. For example, you know, a lot of people, and it happened fast actually, you know, even, you know, for example, I was a collector. I'm anonymous, I can say that. I was a collector, and when I was buying things, you know, like, I don't know, CryptoPunks or like, you know, big artists, you know, the vision was art history. I say, oh, I have the chance to collect, you know, I am the contemporary from the new Basquiat or whatever. And so for $500, I can be part of it. It's a dream, you know. And so in 30 years, I will have the chance to have something, you know, that was part of history. Of course, like the value should grow. But when you have people who buy something and they flip it right the next day, that's not the same as being a collector who is thinking long term, because a collector also will help support the artist, will help the artist continue exploring, continue creating, and not just go like some collectors do in our space. You cannot do this much art, or you only can do this kind of thing. So that's the kind of thing that...
I'd be curious what the other two participants think. Just
he has a lot of things to say.
What I wanted to ask basically is,
We practically have a space that is a mix of very different people coming from very different backgrounds, and primarily it's crypto people. So the base fundamentally was built on speculation. And then you have those crypto experts suddenly becoming art experts. So in my opinion, there is a really large confusion that comes from this thing, because you have somebody who has zero understanding of art or any cultural knowledge, and then it moves the market. So Yeah, but at the beginning of the space, when these people were not there yet, what there was really a lot of interesting innovation, and the only collectors were artists, because there were no collectors. So the crypto bros came, yes, they came later, they come, they raid the place, then they leave, and then interesting things happen.
Yeah, but on the other hand, you know, before crypto bros, as you say, you know, you didn't have so many artists who were able to get financial independence from that.
It's kind of, I mean, it's an interesting idea. From my experience, I think speculators and collectors have been in the space for a long time, and I think you've had speculators both. I mean, during the bull market, there were speculators. You know, you had guys like Pranksy and others who, straight from the beginning, were buying CryptoPunks in the very beginning, and you had traders and you have collectors. But something about the past year, I'd say, has led to a bit of a contraction in the user base. Are there, from your experience with collectors, who are the collectors who you see currently sticking around? Do you actually see the collectors, the ones that we want in the space, continuing to be in the space, or do you see collectors starting to say, maybe this isn't for me?
First of all, there are certain collectors that I have an insane amount of respect for, because what happens with them, thank you, is that there's this situation very similar when there was an economic development with the concept of the new money with the oil. So when you had the old money having to meet a whole new generation of money that came from a different industry, similarly, with what came with crypto, what was interesting is that a new group of people that was new money in the ecosystem arrived, and I was really hoping for them to become champions of what were the values of blockchain, because this is how you made your bags, to say. So there are some collectors that I believe that truly represent the vision of what the blockchain was for and what is the potential of blockchain for art. And one of them, I am very happy to say, is Token Angels. I think we all support and love him. And many like him are very like connoisseurs of crypto art, and they are tastemakers as well, in a sort of sense. They help us understand what is a potential direction where to go to.
And advisors, I think that there are collectors like Token Angels who are exactly what you're saying, who are advisors, who are staying around. They may not be spending money right now, but they believe in this. And those are the ones that we want to keep, you know, and hopefully there'll be more like them, because it's not just one generation. I'm hoping that there'll be more like them. There's some speculators that I know came in thinking, I'm gonna fill my bags, and then they fell in love with the art. They fell in love with the artists, and that's what art can do. That art does. And I don't disagree that they should make money, because I agree with you that there should be a return on investment. But when you have the perfect combination of good collecting, making value, and also falling in love with the art, those are the guys and girls that we want.
One thing on this topic, I don't know how many of you know of the new financial social platform called Friend Tech. So one interesting thing about Friend Tech that a lot of people are criticizing, they're saying if you want to support an artist, don't buy their shares on Friend Tech, buy their art. But what's happening is that a lot of people are showing that their interest was never of the visual or the message or the context of the art. Was about buying something similar to a share to do a very simple economic procedure on top. So in that case, it is also very interesting how we can start to observe the career of certain artists and see how maybe there was never a game of trying to put a message inside the artwork, but it was merely a game of let's build a network for me that I know that I can leverage to make this a game financial for collectors. And that is something that I've seen that was very common.
Well, some artists are very good at marketing, you know, and God bless them. But I think that precisely, I hate when people say support artists. Like the Dada people just said, weren't they fabulous? Like Dada says, you don't support artists. The only way to support an artist is to buy their fucking art. That's the only way you support an artist. You don't give them charity. You don't go, poor artist, you're a useless person. You don't know how to make a living. If you want to see an artist grow in their career, buy their art. That's the formula, people.
No, yeah, and to come back on your question and in a way agree with you, what we saw the last 12 months is a real, I would say, lack of maturity in the space. You know, we are cannibals. We love, or parasites, I would say, maybe.
Parasites is better.
Yeah, we are parasites.
Or parasitic cannibals.
Oh, yeah.
When you
Cannibal
say,
parasites.
I almost feel like I should translate because I can hear how they sound without the voiceover, so I actually know what they're saying. But one thing he just said is the idea of that we struggle from a lack of maturity in the space. And I'm curious, what will a mature space look like? Like when you think of our space versus what the NFT space in its mature form looks like, what is that going to look like?
No, because, you know, I believe that if you believe in the space, you want to be in a space, a sustainable mid-term or long-termly. But so far, you know, everything is about incentivizations. You have a new platform coming, you know, okay, Baby Blur is the best or worst example, but it started before, you know, with Luxrare and with Rarible and with other one, you know, and it's just one example with NFT's platform, but every project, you know, create rewards, bonuses, that is bringing, you know, that is just, you know, okay, it's my marketing plan, and I will, you know, give you some bonus if you do some actions. And so people are, it's not a real market. Everything is just artificial. And so, you know, it's just someone doing something until the next one will provide a new service. I don't say, you know, that I love OpenSea, for example. You know, they've been doing so many mistakes and they are continuing to do. But, you know, it was kind of a stability in a way. And, you know, you need to have stable people also in the space. So this is my point of view.
I agree with you in that it is immature precisely because of what you were saying. People who have no clue about art, thinking that they can dictate what an artist can do.
Yeah, but but this is how people are.
You know, but also this, I kind of lost my train of thought, but also this thing about, no, I'll let the other people talk and then I'll come back and say.
On the topic of how the NFT space would look mature, I think we have to start by the fact that the NFT space operates on Twitter. And Twitter is social media, and it will never really be mature as long as our primary place of communication, of sharing resources, of showing the works is social media. It's guided by an algorithm that values engagement, that people need to farm these engagements so you are more seen. So I think one of the main problems is that everything happens on a social media bubble operated by Elon Musk. And there is a lack of actual art resources.
True, but like what would you suggest? Where could we meet? We are digital creatures. Everything is digital. NFTs are digital. So
of course.
it's true what you're saying, but what would be your suggestion?
Social media are amazing. I'm not against them in any way, but I do think we need to open up our minds and open up the gates to the traditional art market and practices that have been established for hundreds of years. Because at the end of the day, artists create art, and art should be seen by as many people as possible.
But the traditional art market is precisely the opposite of that.
Not exactly.
They try to keep art behind these gates of exclusivity, which actually NFTs, I have to say, you can see all the art. You can see the most expensive art. You can actually right-click save that art. You can right-click save the entire
But also in the traditional art world, I mean,
super cool.
there is Google Arts. You can see and download literally every piece of art that has been created.
One of the things that was just said was the idea that, and it was an interesting perspective. It was the idea that, and for NFTs to do well, we need to move so social media and Twitter are not the primary way that everyone talks about the art form. And there was a bit of back and forth on that. I guess one of the things I'm always interested in is understanding what makes artists successful in this space. I found that marketing ability, social media ability often is one of the absolute most important things, but you all interact with artists in different ways. I'm curious what you see as the characteristics of artists who are able to succeed in this very unique space. Why don't you go first?
Yeah, hold on. Before getting into this conversation, what you said is success. I would like to discuss about what is the meter of success, what is the standard of success that we're talking about. So we could now talk about the standard of economic and attention success, which would be an absolutely interesting conversation, but I think that what realities like DADA that spoke before and other projects that are here are really focusing on is understanding what is another value parameter beyond the economic and attention one. For example, what about ecosystemic growth? What about something that has to do from moving the attention from the individual to the collective? What about social action? What if an artist is valued not because his work sold for $2 million, but because his work generated a group of people that then started a social action that changed a poor neighborhood, that changed the dynamic inside of their territory? Like,
Yeah, but in a way, as I said, at the moment the artists need to eat. So making money in a way. And so, you know, if it's about financial independence, because I think also it's the topic, we need to be fine also with the fact that artists should, you know, live and have a good life, actually.
I agree. But also, I think that what makes artists successful is a very simple formula. And it has nothing to do with talent. It has nothing to do with how hard they work. Because there's a million super talented, super hardworking artists that are not successful. Why is that? Maybe because they don't speak English. Maybe because they cannot reach this audience. Maybe because they don't have the best internet connection. Maybe because they're not like a white male that already has 500,000 meters of advantage over other people who may be more talented than them. So success, I agree with. Who are you?
Don't know.
I'm gonna say, but I didn't dox you. I agree with this anonymous person that the metric of success in our market is really only for a very, 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 very few people. Like very few people. And you were telling me that even somebody who was so successful as Park, now like people are upset with him because, you know, he doesn't sell that well. It's a very fickle market.
But yeah, but at the end of the day, I believe into something in terms of success in this space. Of course, you need a lot of things, okay? Especially now, you need to be visible in any way. But whatever you do, you know, we are in space of innovation. And I think, you know, that if you are into this area right now, you know, it needs to be a good mix of course, you know, what you bring visually, what you bring technically, but moreover, you know, what is the concept that you are bringing? You know, if you are producing the top pop art of the 70s, you may find some people, but you know, the space
is more looking for innovation, I would say. Something that has not been done. Something that plays maybe with some on-chain mechanism. Something that maybe includes some gamification, like we saw, with Sam Spratt, for example, last week. That is involving, for example, the collectors. Of course, it needs to be, it needs to be quality, but I believe that right now what we are looking for, and this is why, generative art, AI art are so successful, because it's something that you cannot do in the real world, It's really just because you have the machine, or even PFP actually, to be honest. PFP are successful, and even punks right now are still there and will stay there even if the PFP does not exist anymore so far. Because it's impossible in the real world to create this concept of 10K collection. And so this is, you can hate it, but at the end of the day, it's genius. Creating this concept of, a big collection of 10,000 pieces that are all unique but all different. It has never been done, and so this is something, and so this is why, bringing something new in the space, for me, it's what is the most important criteria.
Totally, I am the most fan of the CryptoPunks. I adore the CryptoPunks, and they were the first and what made PFPs exist. I agree with you about innovation, but it reminds me a little bit what you're saying, a little bit about the incentives, because also innovation has to have some sort of meaning, right? Not on,
Yeah, when I say gamification, you mean? Yeah.
It can very easily become flat. I mean, a bright example is AI. There are some artists that do amazing job with AI, but then you have 90% of the art looks exactly the same. So the innovation can also be a blocker.
I 100% agree with you. And if you just take your Midjourney stuff and start out with something, it will not work. So then, even within the AI, depending on the moment you are launching this, you need to bring something fresh, whatever happened.
But then, listen, to argue on the fact, for example, of the economic and speculative nature of what can be the market of NFTs, we saw Pak earlier. So one interesting thing that Pak did with the project Merge is that he has simplified the game of the collector, which was my objective as a collector is obtain something that will not increase in numbers, but will decrease in numbers, and as it decreases in numbers, it becomes more valuable. And that's the whole gamification of Pak. So what I like about it is that by making one project, he essentially revealed the blanket on the formula, and then he said, we made it a conceptual piece. Once you do that, to my interest, sincerely, I don't think that repeating that formula with a different aesthetic, it's interesting. So I'm not a really big fan of all the economic affiliation to NFTs. I am still really, really, really strongly believing that there is something in this space that can allow for a future where artists can really find a living and can find a sustainability. But we're not nearly there. I think that the blockchain as a platform to build new solutions is still very fresh, very new, and we don't have enough people who are really trying to understand how to leverage smart contracts, how to leverage not only blockchain but layer 2 technologies to make statements of art in a new complete way, similar to what Pak did. That can even be just observing something that is happening and make it more clear, make it as a statement.
All right, I'm just gonna jump.
Scarcity,
No, but it's not about discovering it. He saw that the whole market was going crazy about scarcity, and then he said, let me make it the most simple, stupid game. Let's have you collect white balls.
I'm going to jump in here because to me, it's every panel that I moderate has to end on time, and we got 4 minutes left. So each person, and no responding to each other, but you have 1 minute each person. I'd like to go through and say, what is one element of this space that you are excited about, and that can be something about the space you're excited about, an artist you think is doing interesting stuff. What is one thing that makes you very excited about being here in this space right now? And 1 minute per person. Let's hear it.
Social activism and collectivism through blockchain.
That was not 1 minute. For me, it's the community. That's what really makes me excited. The people in this space, even if we disagree, it's really a great community, and the diversity of it that we can all be libertarian or anarchist or whatever, but there's something that brings us together. That's what I love.
I think the opportunities that it brought for digital art to be monetized in a way that hasn't been before, and the ability that it brings to have provenance of art that also hasn't been before, I think are the two primary things that brought me into this space and also make me stay into this space.
Yeah, I think it's kind of related, but opportunity for me is the key. You know, in the next 10 years, a lot of things will happen, and anyone, you know, everything needs to be invented basically from now. And you can see, you know, this is why everybody is exciting and everything is changing every 2 months or every month. Because, you know, we are in a non-stop brainstorming about what will the future be. But you know, this is what is interesting for anyone here. There is a way at the moment to create something that has never been done before. And for me, this is what is exciting.
Cool. Well, thank you all very much. I think we could have debated all these topics for an hour, each of them, and we didn't even talk about royalties. So imagine that.
Wow.
But thank you all very much for being on the panel. And I think we have a Korean dance coming up next.
Thank you.